is you interlock the two.
Now stretch them right as...
Soccer. And the...
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
I felt like a reptile. Like a reptile. I felt like a reptile.
I've had them for ages. I don't even remember where I got them from now. But I'd need the Roman helmet under the Marvin the Martian.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They are like Jetson headphones.
They're like a pair of headphones that I would find at my dad's house at the bottom of a hi-fi, and it only had the really fat jack to plug it in. It wasn't like a 3.5 jack.
Yeah, one of them. Bit of a drink. One of them that you need the adapter for.
Yeah. I like your plug, or the old hi-fi had it, like a big.
Well, these are the. Oh, I've got more water here. I don't know which one's the right one. Anyway,
orange.
I don't have to say are we recording now, because I know we're recording because I've just pressed the button myself.
Are we?
Which is why we're not videoing, because the Raptors are in New York living the high life. Yeah, these are the headphones that Mark Goddard was taking the piss out of. Do you remember when he was like, you're not going to leave those headphones on, are you? You look like such a... I don't even remember who he said.
Yeah,
now.
he said you look like, what's his name out of Something About Mary. Have you seen my baseball?
That's him, yeah. Anyway.
Ewan, is it? I don't know.
I'll take them off now, because they do feel kind of stupid. I'm not even sure why I bought them. I really don't know.
Oh, did you buy it? You weren't giving them one?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I don't think so. They are good headphones.
They're all right present, but I don't think I'd choose
Anyway.
How's things?
All good, man. All good. Literally got off a plane from Singapore like 6 hours ago.
I was just about to say that. This time yesterday, where were you?
I was walking around Singapore. I was in Chinatown. That's where I was. I was in Chinatown shopping for trinkets and treasure.
You've got a few new treasures that you brought back with you, which are nice, which are currently on the table in front of us, because we're actually sat straight in your normal studio for Inside the Octagon.
Yeah, we're sitting in the front room. We've got the canvas on the wall next to us. So the Raptors are in New York ahead of next weekend. I'm flying out tomorrow.
No, Wednesday.
Yeah, no, it's not tomorrow, is it? Jeez, what day is it?
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
What did you think of the fights? Did you watch them?
I did. I caught up on a few, but the first one I want to talk to you about. Did you watch Paulie?
I saw the end of the fight.
Dude.
Yeah, it's vintage Paul, innit? Left hook.
Mate, it was half a left hook.
Half a left hook.
Like Paulie standing, the guy just turned off.
That's all he needs though, Paul. He just needs half a left hook.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I was so pleased to see it.
He is good. He is very good.
Yeah. Well, I was catching up on that because it was a weird one because
you're not even talking anywhere near the microphone. Talking to the top of it.
Into the top like this. Better, yeah? That's better, yeah. Right, it's because I'm not on a...
Yeah. We need to sign you up for karaoke.
What about if I just
stick... You've got to hold it in front of your face.
Like that?
There we go, yeah. You've seen what's it called? Tonight, Michael, I'm going to be...
Yeah, Shooting Stars.
There you go.
Do I need some of that?
There you go. You need a bit of practice. You need a bit of mic practice.
I'm used to it being on the stand.
That's the thing, and I can hear it now. You're as bad as Mark Goddard. I'm going to do mic holding classes because fighters are terrible for it. They're so bad for it. Like the amount of fighters that at the end of a fight, they're talking into the mic and then they turn their head away and they're talking about.
I'm so pleased. I just want to thank.
You don't get any of the story.
I always like it when a fighter tries to take the microphone off someone.
Yeah.
If it's Bruce or you or Joe or whoever,
yeah,
and they're just trying to take the mic and the person's sort of holding it. You can tell it's in their ear going, don't let that fucker have the microphone.
Yeah. Don't
let him have the microphone.
I think the most uncomfortable I remember is when, and the only reason I remember is because I saw it the other day, was when after Conor won that close decision against Nate and then Joe came in to interview him and Conor tried to grab the mic and he said something like the King's back.
Yeah.
And Joe just wouldn't let go of that microphone.
Definitely not having this.
No. So the fight's this weekend.
Yeah, it was on early, wasn't it, for us?
It was. Well, not for me, it wasn't. It was on normal time for me because I was there.
Yeah, it was really early.
Was it?
It's one of them that, I know I've said it before, but I always avoid spoilers. And on a Sunday, I religiously won't touch my phone. So because I hadn't even thought about it, I opened my phone, didn't I?
Oh, did you?
And I saw Askren tap in and I was like, oh. And without sounding like a dick, I wasn't that bothered about that fight. As much as I was bothered, it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like the week before when it was Jeremy Stevens that I desperately didn't want to know the result.
Which fight were you most looking forward to?
On this card, I couldn't wait for Stevie Ray,
And
and Michael Johnson.
What do you think to it? How did you score it? Because I only watched it live. I've not watched it back, and I remember thinking at the time the first round was difficult to score, but I think I just edged it towards Stevie. I don't know why though. I feel like Michael Johnson's work rate wasn't particularly high. I felt like Stevie was working a bit more, and Michael Johnson was just kind of waiting.
Well, they thought he was tired, didn't they? They were saying that it's his best round. First is always his best, but he actually looked stronger in the second.
That's it, because the second was clearly his. Like he was better in the second than Stevie was in the first, but I still think Stevie scored. I think it's still it was still Stevie's round the first round, and then definitely Michael Johnson's the second round, and then the third round started well for Johnson and then ended terribly.
But mate, he looked like he just lost all his energy.
Yeah, and it's like we had the stats screen next to us, and it was like Stevie like. About 2 minutes into the third round, Stevie was about 20 strikes behind Michael Johnson. By the end of the fight, he was like 20 strikes
way
ahead.
over.
Yeah. Like he massively swayed it towards the end. So
I thought it was a couple of times they could have finished it. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of real close because Michael Johnson just looked exhausted. You good?
Yeah. Was that an earthquake? Am I going mad? I'm jet lagged, aren't I? Is that what's going on?
Jet lagged.
I swear to God, I've just felt an earthquake.
I am so jet lagged. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe my house is shaking.
So, well, I gave it. I think I wasn't mad that Stevie Ray won it, but I thought it could have gone either way. And I think if it had gone Johnson's way, Stevie Ray would have been fuming.
So, I've got the scores here because I'm on the Wikipedia page. So I've got 29-28, 29-28, and 28-28, which meant that two judges scored 2 rounds to Stevie and 1 round to Michael. And then one judge scored the first 2 to Michael and the last 1 to Stevie by a 10-8.
Oh, okay. Which, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. It was close.
No, hang on, because there was a knockdown in the second round as well, wasn't there? Didn't Michael Johnson score a knockdown in the second round? So then that would mean that judge would have scored the first round and the last round for Stevie and the middle round a 10-8 for Johnson.
Right.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? I need to have a look at the scorecard.
He wasn't happy there, was he, Michael Johnson?
As I was walking up into the octagon, I got a note through from the truck saying if it's a draw, we won't go to an interview because we were kind of pressed for time and they didn't want it to kind of blow out and get a bit crazy and like for the conversation to go, get out of hand. So I stood outside the octagon because I actually was expecting it to be a draw.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as it was announced, then that's when I went into the octagon. But I mean, I get it. I understand why Michael Johnson was upset, but at the same time, I think if the fight finishes in such a strong way for your opponent, even if you edge the first 2 rounds, even if you won the first 2 rounds comfortably, it's always going to look bad finishing strong. But
yeah, well, that's why I struggle scoring.
Well, that's the thing. It's always judged round by round, and as I'm watching it live, I don't always. And I think the fans. I think this is why sometimes the fans react the way they do because they don't score round by round.
No,
they have a feeling at the end of the fight who they think won, and that can be impressionable by how the last round finished.
Yeah, I score it as a whole.
Yeah, I
never really sit there, and more often I have broken it down a bit more, or like thought how it could have been perceived, especially after things like Whittaker Adesanya, because it was one of them where I heard someone say, "Well, that knockdown at the end would definitely have given it to him," and I was like, I disagree.
Yeah.
Because I felt like Rob was doing stuff. But then I watched it again and I was like, was he doing stuff? Or was Israel just measuring him?
I wonder how much it would change the way that the fights are actually scored if you had one set of judges scoring round by round and one set of judges scoring at the end of the fight. Who do you think won?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Well, that does happen at the minute, but those judges are just fans. So everyone else, other than the judge, is like, no, he definitely won because this happened.
True.
So yeah, it was. But how was it? How was the atmosphere there? How was the energy there?
It was good. It was a good atmosphere. I mean, a lot like like the Japanese crowds and stuff. It's very quiet in there. Like apparently I'm looking forward to going to South Korea because apparently the South Korean fans are crazy. They get like loud and stuff. They're far more like European fans, whereas like Singapore residents seem to be a much more like the Japanese fans, like they sit and they watch. And I don't know whether that's because they've got ONE FC out there, so like they're used to a high level of MMA, and they're tuned in and they're watching, and like
They're appreciating the art as opposed to.
They knew who all the fighters were. I mean, there were people getting to the arena before the fighters had arrived at the arena. Like
Nice.
the doors were open, they were coming and sitting in their seats with their snacks and stuff, and like there were some good fights. The first fight of the night, the two heavyweights, was a bit of a battle back and forth, but everyone really was there for the second fight. Loma Bunmi, who was taking on Alexandra Albu. Did you watch that? Have you seen the prelims?
No, I didn't see all of the prelims.
So that in the first round, Alexandra Albu held Bunmi's shirt so much that it ripped.
Yo.
Like she ripped all the way down the seam. When she went back to her corner, Coach Hickman in the corner said, "Can we take her shirt off?" Because obviously, like Albu was using it as a handle. Of
course.
And Movaheady warned her twice. If she'd have done it a third time, he'd have taken a point. But even so, I mean,
twice in a rip. That's enough for a point.
Well, that's
isn't
it. I would. I mean, you could have given it. You could have taken a point at that point anyway. And that was a split decision. And I don't know. So two judges on that one scored it 30-27 for Loma.
Right.
And one judge scored it 29-28 for Alexandra Albu. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how one judge sees it so different to the other two.
I'm just desperate for there to be ex-fighters in there. There's more than enough. You get a Rich Franklin or just anyone.
Well, Rich Franklin's working for ONE now. So.
Yeah, but that type of
there's
guy,
loads of fighters that could do that.
Loads of them.
Like jury service.
Yeah.
You like call them up. You get
imagine. Yeah, you get Jeremy Horn and I don't know, Phil Baroni and Chris Lieben.
Yeah, Phil. Did you see Phil Baroni's tweet to me?
I did.
He sent me a private message on Twitter. He's like, "You're to blame for this, you stupid ideas." I'm like, "How is that my idea?"
I loved it.
At what point did I say to you, "Hey, you should go out to Thailand and take a boxing match against the stadium champion"?
I hope that in his brain, he's got like a mini imaginary friend that's you, that he blames for all his like wrongdoings.
Do you think that's what it is?
Like a devil and an angel. You're the devil on his shoulder that he listens to but regrets, and the angel is, I don't know, Hoist Gracie or something.
Well, he wants to fight me, and he's wanted to fight me for years for whatever reason, and he sends me a message. But then I think now he's got the message that I'm not interested in fighting him. Now he's blamed it on me that he's gone to fight somebody else.
And got sliced.
Open.
He looked like he got hit by one of them V slices off the shopping channel.
I think he's adopted a dog while he's out there as well. He posted a picture.
Well, that chewed his face. Jesus. He looks like he was the chew toy. It's like his left eyebrow.
Yeah, one
eye. But we do have to revisit his nickname.
Oh, yes.
The whole of his nickname. Because
it's time, isn't it?
It is time, and without sounding out of line, because of obviously the baddest motherfucker belt being on the line this week, the original New York badass is Phil Baroni.
I know. He should at least be there to present the belt.
I think he might be sleeping in the car park. Living. Sleeping. Same.
I think they should bring him in. I think they should get his gown out, dust it out.
His top hat.
Bring him into his top hat. and his Bret the Hitman Hart sunglasses.
Oh, mate.
And we should give him his intro again. Walk out into the octagon, present the belt to the winner.
Yes.
Right?
Or he has to fight The Rock.
He's like...
Because apparently The Rock's doing it, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Apparently, Masvidal tweeted, "When I win."
Right.
I don't know if it's when or if, which I always think is respectful, especially like between those two type of guys. If I win, I want The Rock to put the belt on me at in Madison Square Garden.
Why The Rock though? Is The Rock a badass? Is the Rock a bad motherfucker? He's huge. He's like a side of a bus.
He's a bit of a sweetheart though, isn't he?
He is a bit.
I saw him singing "You're Welcome" to an elderly woman for her birthday the other day.
Is that right?
Whereas
Phil
Baroni, I think, would have robbed her.
He might have done at this point. I don't know what he got paid to fight in Thailand, but it can't be what his old UFC purses. I'd like to see him come out and present the belt. Anyway, that was the tangent that we needed to make a note of, because I thought about that while I was in Singapore. I'm glad you reminded me.
But it's true. He is the original New York badass,
isn't he? What? So you watched the main card then from Singapore?
I did. I watched the main card. Yeah. So
I want to see. I know Muslim Salikov called out the Leech in his post-fight interview, but I would really like to see him against Wonder Boy. Like with all those spinning kicks and that wushu style.
That'd be interesting.
It'd be like a Van Damme movie. It'd be like Bloodsport.
Yeah,
like
be a
first
proper
round of the tournament in
90s
Bloodsport.
VHS.
It would. Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. But I like it when the stars make the fights a bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as much as obviously, when I say I wasn't interested in Askren and Maia, I was. I respect the pair of them, and to see what Maia's still doing,
Yeah.
is bonkers. But I mean,
41, and he's in wicked shape.
dude,
But maybe the best shape I've seen him in a long time. I think he knew against Askren he was going to be like up against it.
yeah,
He was going to be put through the mill to get the win, and he was. I mean, he was breathing heavy at the end of the first round.
yeah.
He was. But I think his recovery between rounds was amazing. But even like the physical taxation on the body of like trying to get some space from Askren.
Especially being Askren as well.
Yeah.
What do you think about the call out of Sanchez?
I'm not against it. I don't mind the idea. I mean, it makes sense as far as where they are in their careers. I don't think either of them are going to hold the title at this point, and I don't mind the idea of it. The first thing I thought, especially like as soon as he said it, I thought to myself, "You're way too big for
He's
Diego.
massive.
You're way too big for Diego. You will maul him." And Diego's good. Diego's tough. You know, he takes a good shot. He's got good grappling himself, but like the size difference, and to be able to see Damian Maia do that to Gunnar Nelson and Ben Askren, I don't see what Diego would have to offer him. I would more like to see, it was in the arena actually at the weekend. Gilbert Burns.
Wow.
I saw him when he was checking into the hotel.
He's
and
like
he
a
said,
truck.
Hey, exactly. And now he stepped up to welterweight. He's had two. Who is he? He's just beaten Kunchenko, which was a big win, and then
More
who's he just
recently, he's
beaten?
fought really recently and looked really good.
Was it Gunnar Nelson? It was Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he beat Gunny.
So, and the first thing he said to me is, I don't like this best grappler in MMA, best MMA grappler title, because I should be in the fight. So I think he'd like a go at Damian Maia.
He has asked for Askren. He said, "Don't cut him.
Oh, is that
I'll
right?
have him."
Yeah, but I don't think this is impressive now, Damian Maia. It'd be more impressive to beat Damian Maia.
Yeah, much more.
But then maybe he doesn't want the
Look at the scalps. Look at the scalps Maia's got.
Yeah.
I would have thought Maia might have had another quick payday up there while he was at the top.
Yeah, I mean, from Maia's perspective, Diego's a good call out.
But it's not a headline, is it?
Hasn't Diego got a fight coming up?
He's always got a fight coming up.
He has. I'm sure he got. Is he? I'm sure he's matched up.
I'll have a look for you.
Dariush looked good. Cyril Gann looked good.
He was relentless.
He's a monster.
He was relentless.
He is a monster. So we were in the. I got some good training sessions in while I was in Singapore. Me and Johnny G's had a good roll on Tuesday, and there were a few fighters training in there. And Cyril Gann came in, and he was hitting pads for a while. And my goodness, he can crack a kick. It's ridiculous. Those body kicks he was landing were horrible.
Yeah.
And then when I was watching him grappling, he was trying all kinds of stuff on the floor, which really surprised me. Because a guy that size, he's got
long,
a
isn't he?
kickboxing background,
Yeah.
he is. I wasn't expecting him to be able to move as well. But, he kept trying things. And then to be able to finish, 14 seconds before the end of the fight with a heel hook after dominating the strike.
Way impressive.
Yeah.
And is it Dontel?
Dontel Mays, yeah.
Dontel just looked a bit out of his depth.
He did.
I think he knew he was wasn't he the biggest underdog on the
He was.
card? Which, that's got to play on your mind. And even though you're a big dude, you know how to fight, he was just
Completely
almost
outclassed.
Johnny Walker in it a little bit. You know, that sort of that confidence of, I know you're not going to beat me.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be walking him down quite easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair though, for him to go all the way through and then finish him at the last second,
Yeah.
well impressive.
That's 2 submissions as well. And he wants to headline the first Paris-France card when the UFC go to France next year.
Isn't it still illegal in France?
It is illegal until, and I don't know why the date, but it's January 2nd. MMA is illegal until January 2nd.
Why?
I don't know. And then it's all right.
I never, when you look at some of the sports around the world and some of the crazy shit that happened, it's like, can we come and bring our legal sanctioned event to you? It's like, no.
But then we've got New York this weekend, and it was illegal in New York for ages.
That was
up
a
until
farce.
recently. And what's funny is when the UFC first tried to come to New York, the commissioner, I can't remember what his name was, but the commissioner who fought to stop MMA being legalized in the city and was successful, now runs an MMA podcast.
Yeah, ridiculous. I can remember, but that was a farce. If you followed MMA for a long time, the New York thing was just like I don't know, it was like unicorn's teeth.
Yeah.
It was just fucking, just ongoing
Forever.
nonsense of bollocks for years and years, because it was always like, oh yeah, we're going to get New York, and it never happened. And now, like you say, however many events have been there, it's just like the norm.
I know.
And nothing special happened. No fairies exploded or like fucking
Well, now they're seeing
Godzilla
what money
came
it
out
can
of the
make,
sea.
aren't they?
Say again?
Now they're seeing what money it can make.
Well, that's the fucking thing. You look at what money it brings.
Yeah.
It's bonkers.
This weekend's going to be crazy.
Dude,
I can't wait to get out there. It's going to be mad. And chasing status on Friday.
you have jealous.
Friday's a busy day, actually. So there's the weigh-ins, and I'm doing some stuff for BT Sport. I think we're going to do some open mats while I'm out there.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm doing that show with Luke Thomas, the Sirius XM show, live.
Are you going to meet up with him?
Somewhere in... Yeah, we're a couple of blocks from the weigh-ins, and they've got like a bar, restaurant kind of thing set up. I'm not sure exactly the setup. It was similar to the one that I did with him in Vegas a while back.
Okay.
Where we were kind of set up in a bar, and like there was a live audience there,
Nice.
and we answered questions. It was very cool. So we're doing that. I think that's 7 till 9 after the weigh-ins, and then booting straight over to Brooklyn to watch Chasing Status.
Dude,
That's going to be wild.
it is going to be wild.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Have you noticed how much love that Luke Thomas is getting now? Since
Yeah.
he took over, it was a bit slow. And then Ariel said a few things recently that have sort of rattled a few people. Did you see him against Big John?
I didn't. No, I honestly don't pay much attention to
No,
him.
see, I
I
suppose...
like Luke Thomas. The thing is, Luke Thomas and Ariel are very different. They fulfilled very different roles. Like Luke Thomas is much more of an analytical role from someone on the outside that is from a journalistic perspective, but he also has a good understanding of the technique breakdown. And then Ariel's much more of a journalist, much more go out and get the story.
Yeah.
So they fulfill different roles for me. I think Luke Thomas is good though. I think he speaks well, and a lot of people like him.
I did see when we were away, I saw when we were out there, Luke Thomas was way more approachable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I felt like
a lot of people say that.
if I went up to Luke Thomas now and spoke to him again, he'd be like, I remember you. Whereas if I went over to Ariel, he'd probably introduce himself again. Do you know what I mean?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. What did you think to Benil Dariush?
Dude, how quick was that?
He's good. He's very and he looked great in the striking range as well for as long as it lasted.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
what did
it
you get?
was
60
quick.
seconds. It was pretty much 60 seconds striking, 60 seconds grappling, wasn't it?
He's like a slippery dish. He was
A
brilliant.
slippery dish. That's a good nickname for him.
Benil
Benil Slippery Dish Dariush.
Yeah, because the thing is, when they were walking out, I thought, because he's got a bit older, he looked a bit more like
Well, he's
thick-set.
let the grey growth around.
Yeah.
Him, so I think he's done it intentionally to be deceiving.
Well,
like,
mate.
people are going to underestimate him, and then he comes out and he moves like lightning.
Yeah, he fucking big brother the shit out of him,
Yeah,
didn't he?
didn't he?
Yeah,
I
he was-
like Frank. Like I think the matchup's got to be right. The opponent's got to be right for it to be.
A good night for him.
Yeah.
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 Because
He's exciting, but I feel like someone that's got such a good grappling game will be able to take him out of his element.
yeah, especially when they can sit back and when they are a bit older and they know to implement a game plan. And the benefits of that when someone's like, oh, he's just a brawler. It's like anyone who fights Mike Perry who doesn't go in with a game plan.
Yeah.
It just doesn't end well.
Because you get drawn into a brawl.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because
Yeah.
you just bite down and you start doing that whole, you fucking what?
Yeah.
I'll fight you. And it's never going to end well.
Yeah. But as long as the opponent's picked right for Frank Camacho, he's always going to be fun to watch.
Was
Alex White would be a good fight for him. Or Fiziev on the undercard looked great against Alex White. That'd be a fun fight for
yeah,
Frank
I think
Camacho.
I did watch that. I caught a load, but there was quite a few on Saturday night. I was falling asleep watching as well.
Well, yeah.
I was jumping into
That's
Cage
because you've been
Warriors.
staying up watching, playing Call of Duty.
Dude,
Is it good?
it's so good. I've got a problem.
Mm.
A big problem. I was up till 3 a.m.
Oh dear.
And the thing is, I'm sat at parents' evening and stuff, thinking about my loadout. Like, if I could just change the scope on my M14. And I can. The thing is, in our group we call it Barbie dolling. So basically, whenever we've got a game, in between games, you can sit and you can modify stuff. And it's all personal preference. And it is just a proper moochy smoke break. So essentially, someone's making a brew, someone's rolling a joint. Someone's doing whatever. They're just relaxing.
So, educate me for someone that doesn't spend much time playing on video games. So the loadout is where you're picking your kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sat there and I've got my preference because I just like to run about like a headless chicken. So I don't want anything which is slow to bring up. So basically, you want your gun to be in the middle of the screen really quick so you can shoot the guy. So you can have a quick reaction time. So you can get dead geeky and watch all these 14-year-olds on YouTube explain how to play the game because you're a fucking idiot. Mm-hmm. And so you consume all that information, and that's because they're professional YouTubers. So they have it set up like an F1 car, whereas I need something a bit more like an old Mini.
You need a monster truck. That's what.
I need a monster truck.
You can run into a room and mow people.
Yeah, that's like an old F-Reg, like an 89, just old shit that I can have a go. And so the thing is, everyone's sat there, and it's so fucking mellow because it's just dudes playing the game, and we're like, right, we'll have a break. And then, like I say, someone's fucking making a cup of tea, someone's going to the toilet, and I'm sat there painting my gun pink. Do you know what I mean? And then I'll win a game, and because my gun's pink or something, I start then going, can't not have it pink now. What if I change all of them pink? And then I change all of them pink, and then I lose. I'm like, oh shit, maybe it should be just that one.
Right.
Yeah, I get in my own head a bit.
It's your lucky pink MP40, isn't it? M-Pink 40.
Mate, that's it.
Mr. Pink 40.
Mr. Pink, yeah. Or my Steve Buscemi class. But yeah, they've done it now where for every weapon, there's at least 100 modifications.
Oh no! See, that's like the old. Remember the old Pride game on PlayStation?
Yeah.
And you could build your own character.
Yes.
I spent more time building my own character.
Yeah.
Than I did actually playing the damn game.
By the time you'd finished, Pride had been acquisitioned by UFC, and all the guys had fucked off somewhere else to Strikeforce.
Yeah, and the game wouldn't load anymore.
No, that's it. Yeah, Fido was just out there going, you didn't say the magic word.
In his magic shirt, magic sweater.
Oh man. So yes, that's what I've been playing, which is really bad.
Yeah.
I'm 38, and I'm just shit, but I enjoy it. But I get fucking whooped, and I get so mad.
Yeah.
Like full tilt.
Yeah, but that's because you have a bright pink gun and you go wading into the crowd like a monster truck.
That's it, yeah.
See, I used to play that Left 4 Dead with my ex.
Okay.
And I'm like, machine gun, shotgun, like, let's clear the room without them getting close to us.
Yeah, let's distance.
She's beating people up with an electric guitar.
Yeah.
And then that fucks my game up because then I can't start shooting because then I'm shooting at her as well. And then that becomes a real life domestic, and then the video game is no longer fun because then you don't get dinner.
That's
you know
it.
What I mean?
Yeah, for real. Well, I was having to pick between friends on Friday because we played a version called Survival, where basically you're in Piccadilly Circus.
That sounds good.
And bad guys just keep coming. Nice.
Like
waves
like a survival thing.
Yeah, waves and waves. So first wave, piece of piss. You can walk around with a pistol and shoot them. By the time you get to like 10 and 15, it's squeaky bum time. And at this point, it's like 2:30 in the morning. So you've had a couple of beers and you're a little bit worse for wear. And it'll come up and like over the other side of the map, one of your mates will be down and it'll just have like a revive symbol. And you'll go, how dead are you? And it's like, I'm pretty dead. And it's like, you got many rounds? It's like, no, just come and get me. And you fight in your own battle and you have to fucking hoof it across Piccadilly. You get there and he's already being shot by a load of fucking people. You get shot and then there's two of you lying there going, yeah, help me please. Yeah. You just feel like a right fucking knob.
I can't play online. I can't play with real humans.
Yeah,
I see enough of real humans in normal life for me to have to play with them in video games.
Mate,
I play video games to get away from real humans.
Yeah, I don't play with a lot of them. There's 4 of us or 5 of us, and we have it on a party chat, so you can't even hear the abuse that people are giving you.
Right.
So it's real Tim Bubble, like just a proper little world that you don't have to have anything to do with anyone else. You just sit there painting guns and being a right sad old bastard. To be fair,
painting guns.
It's daft. It's really daft. I don't know what I was going to tell you about that.
Oh, he's got his list out.
I have. No, there's nothing on there.
Your sticker game on your laptop's excellent.
It's gone bonkers, hasn't it?
It has gone mad.
It's because I'm designing and making the amount of stickers I am currently making.
I tell you, I've got one of those massive, the big full Reptile Collective ones.
The bumper
snake
stickers.
head, and I don't know where to put it yet.
Well, I'm going to do a competition.
Yeah.
And that'll be in part of that, so you win. So the snake oil, I'm pointing to it like you can fucking see it. You can't because it's audio only. Yeah. So we've got a big sticker that basically someone was doing a promotion. So I think I bought 50 of them, and I've given some to certain people that we've sent stuff out to. So there's a few left. So the idea I had for the video one, because it's more about the comments and the likes and the stuff on YouTube, because I just find it fascinating. And sometimes you find people having their own little conversations within the comment section. Sometimes people are threatening to do something to someone else's nana. There's all sorts of shit going off in there. And it always makes me smile. Even the videos that I watch myself that have got like 20 million views, but 500 likes. And I don't always get the correlation between liking it or not. Like, it's either the most pointless thing in the world, but I'm still curious as to why people are liking it or disliking it.
I don't dislike stuff. I've never disliked anything.
No,
I don't give bad reviews on stuff. I just don't review it if it's shit.
Yeah.
I don't review it if it's good. I'm not one of those kind of people.
that's what I mean. So
I'm one of those. I'm one of the, 2 million people have watched it and 600 people have liked it. I'm one of the 2 million that watched it and don't like it.
yeah. Well, I wanted to do a competition, and even if it's good or bad, leave a comment.
The noise that you can hear, by the way, is that we're holding the microphones because we're sitting on the sofas.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, and every time we keep fidgeting. We're both doing it.
I am shaking my leg like a dog shitting, so that's just.
I've got the silly headphones back on, so I can now hear it.
Okay, well, I'll try and behave. It might be Ben's stomach as well, because that's if I put the microphone there.
Let me see if I can hear anything. I can't. No, nothing.
Oh, he's a good boy.
Just hear fur.
So the competition is like the video, because we got like quite a few people watched it, which was nice. But honestly, if you either like it, or if you do like it, comment. If you don't like it, comment. So either up thumbs or down thumbs, but leave a comment and we'll choose someone totally at random. It won't be a case that if you can call us a pair of country dicks, I don't care. whatever you put there,
I'm sure a lot of people do.
You still have a chance of winning. So the chances are you might not even like the brand, but you're going to get some T-shirts. So I just thought,
you'll like them when you get them.
Well, that's it. But I'd be more interested.
We'll send Jimmy Wallhead around. We got some new kit for the gym. Did you see?
What'd you get?
What did we get?
Is this what you were organising with Jimmy the other day when he was here?
Yeah, I paid for a 2-man team to deliver the damn things up the stairs because he's got a broken hand, and I'm trying to stop him lifting stuff, and he's holding pads and all kinds of shit. Anyway, so I ordered. We've got a load of weights, like free weights, bars, and plates for like conditioning circuits, and we got a rower, and we got a ski erg as well, which I've never used before, but Jimmy loves them, so I'm gonna go and have a play with that at some point. Okay. It's like you stand in front of it and just like you're skiing, like you do these like downward thrusts.
Oh, nice.
Should be interesting. I've just noticed that the Raptors have put up an Inside the Octagon Behind the Scenes, episode 6.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
That's normally what I watch when I'm in my office. I get to sit and watch them.
And it's got 174 likes and 2 dislikes. Who are those 2 that disliked it?
Yeah, but what bit did they not like? Because so many people go, what's the music at the beginning of the podcast?
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can call it music. It's more like white noise. Do you know what I mean?
It's not music, is it? It's just a noise. No. It's just a sound.
It's not like Conway Twitty did it on a fucking compilation app.
Was it Family Guy who always used to drop into? Did you see the cameo that he had in the Star Wars episode where he had the Darth Vader helmet on?
No.
Oh, it's fucking gold.
Is it good?
You've not seen the Family
Guy? I will have
Star
done,
Wars,
but I probably didn't.
You have to revisit.
Yeah.
I need to get them on my iPad actually, because then I'd watch them on flights. Dude, I slept for, what was the flight? 12 hours, and I slept for 10. At least 10 hours of a 12-hour flight.
That's insane.
That's good, isn't it?
It's really good.
And I still feel fucking like a space cadet.
To be fair, coming back from Vegas, I slept for the whole flight. Woke up with, say, 40 minutes to go, which is when they then, 20 minutes before they land, they say you have to turn everything off.
Yeah.
Even if it's a 10-hour flight, that last 20 minutes is so fucking long, because you just got everyone around you, and everyone's English. So everyone's already stood up before you've landed, trying to get a bag out. You're like, bro, we can't move.
People climbing over you from the window.
Down. We had a guy when we came back from Bulgaria, and he literally, while everyone was stood up, I was sat down with the kids because I could never be arsed, and the whole corridor is rammed full of people, and he'd put his bag like 8 rows down in an overhead locker. So it walked him closer to the middle of the plane because we were at the back, and he pushed past so many people to get his bag, and then pushed back, and it's just like,
dickhead.
Sit the fuck down, you dickhead. Space monkey.
You saw my tweet today about the luggage carousel.
I did.
Like, fucking come on, people. They even give you a hint. Like, most airports that you go into, the tiles around the luggage carousel are a different colour. Like, give a bit of space. If you stand right next to it, you block everybody else. I could slap them. especially after a flight like that, even with all of that sleep. And the stewardesses always look at me like I've lost my mind when I say I don't want any food.
Really?
Yeah, because I would imagine that they're used to people asking for more food.
Oh, yeah, we did.
I see a lot of people do. You do.
Well, mate, I woke up as the trolley got closer. I'm
Please, sir. Please, sir. I want some more.
Can I keep this cutlery? This is metal.
I was sat with Johnny G's in the lounge, in the British Airways lounge,
Of course.
and they give you food here. There's nice food. So I gone and got some rice and some beans and a few other bits, and picked up cutlery. And they have the most useless knife and fork. They're metal.
Is the fork like an inch long?
Yeah.
The knife an inch long?
The actual blade part of it is like an inch and a half long.
And rounded.
As rounded as it could be for a knife. And then the fork, like the actual spaces between the fork. On a normal fork, you get what, an inch and a half?
Easy.
Kind of point.
Yeah.
Less than an inch on these.
Yeah.
I'm staring at this thing for a good few minutes.
It's like Jeremy Beadle's hand.
Oh, that is the best analogy for
Isn't it?
that. Yes, unfortunately, as cruel as that is, it is, and it's about as useless as that as well, as I imagine that hand would be,
Mate.
But I'm thinking like, what would be the purpose in that? Like someone at some point during the design of the cutlery for the airport has said, no, hang on a minute, those points are too long.
This is far too dangerous.
Too long for what? Well, I mean, an inch and a quarter point on a fork.
Terrorism.
You could probably, yeah. You could probably get to a vital organ with that. Do you think you could?
I don't know.
Could you get to a vital organ within an inch and a half of the body? There'll be a doctor listening.
There's a lot of stabs.
There'll be a doctor listening. If there's a doctor listening, we'll need
There's a doctor listening. Only a doctor of love.
If there's a doctor in the house, we'll need a copy of your medical certificate.
And we
will
need to see a
send you
manifesto on
t-shirt.
it. We'll send you a
We'll
t-shirt.
send you a t-shirt if you can neither confirm nor deny.
Full reptile
Whether-
Dr. Fork Stabbing Warrior. Fork Stabbing.
Dr. Reptile.
Well, at least I know that the scummers and the poshies get the same cutlery.
The
Because
fuck's a scummer?
I'm a scummer, you're a poshie.
I'm not a posh.
You're in the British Airways lounge, dude.
That's because I've done like 200,000 air miles this year.
I'm sat in a
That's
shed
ridiculous.
outside with Frankie and Benny. Not the restaurant, just two dudes called Frank and Ben that we have to
Frankie and Benny's not a restaurant.
Well,
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Is it? Yeah.
But their knives and forks are just as derpy. 'Cause it's one of them that you have to be on the cadge when you're on holiday. So I was like, maybe we can steal some aeroplane cutlery. It's not worth it.
It's like Wendy House cutlery. It's not real. It's not,
It is
it's
shit.
useless.
And it disappears. It vanishes before you get home.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Although
That's it.
I did see something. There's a restaurant. Well, I say a restaurant. It's not really a restaurant. It's like a fast food restaurant. But it's a vegan place that I discovered a couple of years ago in Singapore. It's called Green Dot.
Dot.
Green Dot.
Okay.
It's wicked. They have like it's really good stuff. You go in and get like a bento box with some rice and like broccoli and seaweed, and it's all kinds of interesting shit. But it tastes delicious. And there was a woman sat at the table next to me the other day, and she sat down with her meal, and she opened up her bag, and she got this most beautiful set of chopsticks out in this case. And she opened these chopsticks and like she got a little like hand sanitizer and cleaned her hands first.
Well, like
Got
travel
these
chopsticks,
yeah,
but
like,
dapper ones.
like her own. Like they were wicked. They were really really nice. And as soon as I saw them, I'm like, I think I need some everyday travel chopsticks.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a bit of a magpie. I've realised that recently.
I have, yeah.
Because the thing that I love about Singapore is that there's so much treasure there. Like you can, like I like crystals and minerals. I like silver. Shiny things, amulets. Yeah, I like religious stuff. I don't know why that is because I'm not religious, but I've got a selection of rosaries, a collection of rosaries. I've got these are Jesus and Mary candles on the fireplace. I've got loads of that kind of stuff.
But it's all cool shit. It's
Yeah.
all shit that if your house, if a giant picked it up and shook it and all the artifacts landed all over the world, there'd be enough broken sword games on the PC. You know, and click turn adventure games where you'd be like, you have to find different bits to fit. It's like an Indiana Jones game, but it's a point and click. I think it would make probably 500 games. The amount of stuff you've got.
It is a world traveller house. There's stuff from everywhere in here, which I do like.
The trouble is, you do get that when you see someone and they've got their chopsticks. You're like, kind of need that. It's like when you see someone with a snap-on toolkit and you've put your own shelf up and you're like, maybe I need a full tool chest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
I've got 3 sheds because of that.
There's a tattoo artist. I can't remember his name. It was a story that I was told a long time ago. But there's a tattoo artist that used to carry his own cutlery and wouldn't use any others.
I remember you telling me this.
But that's like you
Who
can't do
told
that
us
on a
that?
plane now. Tim Hendricks told me about it.
Oh, is it Tim?
Tim Hendricks' lovely wife was at a meal with them and asked if she could use one of the cutlery, and everybody at the table like stopped because it's a special set of cutlery that nobody else uses, and he's got this kind of odd thing about not wanting to use cutlery that anybody else has.
Yeah, it's kind of
It is strange, but it's
I have got special disposable cups at my office for you.
Is that right?
Yeah, because the problem is the sink that we've got there is just a lad's sink, and it's kind of grim, and everyone's got their own mug. So the problem is,
so I get the disposable cups.
you get the disposable one, so you're not going to be, because the thing is, you're too polite not to drink it, but then I know you'll probably purge it when you get in the car park.
Purge it.
Do you know what I mean?
It sounds like a spiritual endeavour.
What you do? I'm just going to get rid of this coffee that I've just got someone's Hep C on.
Just going to exercise this demon from my body.
Yeah, so
I've not had coffee for a week.
You can tell.
I've not smoked or had coffee for a week.
Yeah, well, that Lego ship stood no fucking chance.
No chance. It was built in seconds, wasn't
Literally.
it? Although whoever sold me that on eBay, you don't need the backstory. I've got a Lego collection. I like the boats, and this was a rare set. This was like the Orientex.
I've never seen it
very
before.
Rare set. Whoever's fucking sold it me, this piece is missing. I'm missing if you're listening, I'm missing a black forer.
Two black forers.
Two black forers, that's right, because I had to go and get another one from my office.
An angled grey panel for the back of the boat, which is a
Angled grey
flat 8er down to a 6er. Or is
good-
it 10 down to a 6?
Something like that. And then the top of the crossbow thing on the front of the boat
Is a
has
flat
got
tour.
a white flat tour on the top instead of a light grey one. So whoever sent me that is listening.
You're
that
in
needs
fucking trouble,
rectifying.
dude.
Again, I'll warn you once. I'll send Jimmy Wallhead around the second time.
Yo.
You don't want that.
No.
Jimmy Wallhead's the Lego enforcer.
If you see Six Ilk walking down your drive, do not answer that door, my friend. Jeez. He'd just come back with a whole Lego set. Was it in that lot?
Yeah.
Don't get it all, Jim.
Yeah. Jim, why has this Lego got blood on it? Well, that's
Funny
another
story.
I had to build it into a club and beat them. I had to beat them to death with their own shoes. Name that movie.
Why don't I know that?
Oh.
Hold on.
You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
Go on.
You're not going to get it. Wayne's World 2. It's when they fly to, you mentioned Piccadilly Circus. When they fly to, what a shitty circus.
Yeah.
When they fly to the UK to find, is he named Del Preston?
Something
To help
like
him put on Wayne stock.
Yeah.
And they walk into his house and he's hanging upside down. And he keeps telling everybody the same story about the Bengal tiger.
Yes.
They were looking for 1,000 brown M&Ms to fill a brandy glass, or else he wouldn't go on stage that night. And he's like, the little sweet shop on the edge of town. And he's like, and instead of having a guard dog, they had this bloody great big Bengal tiger. I managed to take out the tiger with a can of mace, but the shopkeeper and his son, that's a different story altogether. I had to beat them to death with their own shoes. Oh, what a fucking great movie.
See, I fell out of love with Mike Myers. I used to like the Wayne's Worlds,
Really?
but then
Oh, man.
Austin Powers, it killed me.
I loved them.
I couldn't stand them.
Really?
Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me, I didn't
Oh,
mind
you
Fat
would-
Bastard.
Just don't spend any time in America then.
That's
the
it.
amount of people that talk to me in an Austin Powers, it's either Austin Powers or a really shitty like Mary Poppins accent.
That's it. That's what I was saying the other day about. They'll just say, Harry Potter, tea with the Queen, crumpets.
Oh well, yeah, Harry Potter, but then I don't.
I think that's when I was playing a lot of Xbox, and online you'd get a lot of people just talking to you in an Austin Powers voice, and it's like, oh, you got the sat nav, have you? Good. Oh, Austin Powers, Darth Vader, or fucking Homer Simpson. Nice one, dickhead. Change it, you fucking wank. We don't all talk like that. But did you see that Wayne and Garth massively fell out?
Oh, did they?
Massively. So
What, as Wayne and Garth or in real life?
in real life, but dressed as Wayne and Garth. So
What?
exactly. So
no chance of a Wayne's World 3 then.
no, but they're all right apparently now. But Mike Myers went massive, and they did
When he was Fat Bastard.
when he was Fat Bastard, and they did the two Wayne's Worlds, right? But the Dr. Evil character is one that Garth made and did like on Saturday Night Live or something, even down to the little finger.
Oh shit!
And Mike Myers never sort of. I think he has since.
right.
But imagine that, like the rise that fucking Mike Myers went.
Yeah.
And then Garth did that weird film where he was dressed as a turtle. I don't even know what it's
I honestly
called.
don't think I've seen him in anything else.
It was called The Impressionist or the Disguisist, or it was a dog shit film.
Was it? That
And
sofa's kind of Wayne's World, isn't it? That was the reason I bought it.
it's proper moochy.
It is, isn't it?
It's a,
Although there's a real natural dent in it. And
far
like
left.
slightly, I know, right?
Far left.
You can't help but sink into
Butt
it.
Canyon. Yeah, I'm
You
all
can't
about
help but
that.
Sink into it. It's like a reverse Nike swoosh. Is
Oh,
the shape
dude, that's
of
a
the seat,
good way of putting it.
right?
I would-
It's perfect for sleeping.
Yeah.
Because then your legs are slightly higher than your heart, so you can get like the nice, the blood drains out your legs, and you get a bit of relief from your muscle aching, and it's the perfect shape for sleeping in.
I could sleep on a washing line, and this is easy.
That's 1,000 washing lines.
Yeah, I mean, I fall
with
asleep.
the feathers of an ostrich.
There you go, the big ones with the feathers of a fucking ostrich. Ben's appreciating them. I could sleep anywhere, and we went for a walk the other day with the new puppy, and we went to the waterfalls, and for whatever reason, I lay down on his bed. Because it's like you want to get a cuddle with a puppy, and he's just wanted to play.
I saw this photo.
So I fell asleep.
It stays post a photo.
Yeah,
of it.
straight on.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
And we were both absolutely. He fell asleep with his head, his little mouth in my hand,
Oh
and I was like, I can't move now.
no,
2 hours.
Mexican dogs.
Stace woke me up and she was like, "Dude, we've got to go and pick the kids up." And I was like, "I am working. Don't tell anyone." I'm so tired. And she was like, "You've been asleep for fucking hours." Yeah, so I fell asleep in the dog bed. I fall asleep everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, at least you'll be well rested.
I try to be. Yeah, fucking mental kids. It's not that easy, is it?
No, that's true.
Who
Is
we
there
got
anything you want to
next?
say about Damien Meyer, Ben Askren, or do you want to talk about the fights this weekend?
Well, has it been a year? Been a year since the swap, the DJ and Askren swap.
Has it really?
Yeah, so he's had 3 fights.
And DJ's the champ, and Askren's
Yeah.
been knocked out and strangled.
But even though DJ still won all 3 and is now the champ,
You'd still rather watch Askren.
is anyone bothered? And I don't mean that nasty. DJ's a fucking dude. He's a proper dude. But is anyone jonesing to see
I'd
that?
be the biggest fucking shit talker if I was DJ.
He just
I'd
needed
be like,
it, didn't he?
I'd be like, I want to fight you, and then you, and then you, and then I'm going to go up a weight class, and I'm going to beat you. He's so good.
I just think he was sold a dream by... He basically got a PR agent in, and they said, when you win a fight, what you should do is this manga thing with your hands to make out like you've got a power ball, or like something from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, see, because I don't watch any of that.
I don't get it. I don't think anyone does. I
Like
think they
MVP
basically did.
does it, and Adesanya does it. I don't get it.
Yeah, but they do it and back like they talk it up and they live that lifestyle all the time. But it's like someone had just shown DJ one move and he was like, "I'll do that."
But he was sponsored by Xbox for ages, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
Is he
Twitch.
still?
He's
Twitch.
still smashing it. Because you can remember once he was just his whole banner was just Xbox.
It was.
He was
Must have paid him bank for that.
Yeah,
Can you
he's
imagine?
killing it. But he's a wicked video gamer. But it's just like he sort of took a chance, did that little move at the end. It's like when Ben Rothwell did that stupid laugh. Can you remember? I'm the
Yeah.
baddest man in this game. Like it was a joke.
Yeah.
And then when someone said, "Oh, remember when you did that joke laugh?" And he was like, "What?"
I'll be honest. When he was fighting JDS, I was calling that fight, wasn't I? I feel like I was. I was nervous.
JDS
to interview
Rothwell?
him. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
nervous to interview him because you just don't know what's going to happen.
He's bonkers.
It's like Rampage.
Yeah.
Or Crazy Horse even more.
Imagine.
Jeez.
Imagine if we could get Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse against Ben Askren would be good.
Yeah, it would. I'd watch that.
Just because it gives it some relevance again. Because Askren loses so fucking well. He's done the right thing. He's almost done a Chael Sonnen. No one cared about Chael Sonnen ever, anywhere, at any point for anything. Then he started being a D-bag, and I couldn't get enough of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that his backstory about him growing up in Oregon, moving rocks with a fucking wheelbarrow, his struggles he's had with him and his wife with kids, the fucking heartbreaking stuff he's been through, everything. I really like the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a lot of interest in him, a lot of time for him. But before I even knew him, he was fucking winning fights.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking fights. But he was just kind of fucking hella boring. So when he did what he did to Anderson Silva, which was fucking bonkers, it was the Conor of the time, I think. Mm-hmm. And Askren sort of did that to come into the UFC, to just be like, well, I'm the fucking best. I've done this, I've done that. And there was no denying it. He just kept winning. And then when he came in and he did what he did to Robbie, I kind of felt you're not really giving yourself a decent show there. I thought that it was very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky that finished the way it did. And then now he's sort of got nowhere to go, because after the Masvidal thing and Masvidal murdered him.
I know exactly where he should go following this comment, so continue.
So after he got murdered by Askren, he's still shit talking, but he was really humble in the loss as well. He's like, yeah, fair enough. He didn't hide. He didn't run away.
The thing he spun well on that is that he went. I'm just finding this BMF list that this thingy. We were going to talk about this, weren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got that pulled up now, so I won't forget. Where was I? Askren. If I'm Askren, I go to the UFC Performance Institute and I get on the
free food.
The free food. No, I get on the DEXA scan and I find out how much lean body mass I've got, and I see what my lowest weight I could get down to if I was lean, because I don't know whether there was a good reason for it, but he didn't look like he was in as good condition as he normally is. He's not normally
poppy fat.
He doesn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, people make jokes about his physique. If it's effective, it's effective. It's the same as DC at heavyweight. It doesn't really matter what you look like in MMA if you can be effective. And that's even more proof of how good his technique is, because he's not getting away with stuff physically.
No, exactly.
You know. But he didn't look in as good shape, and he didn't look like he was moving as well to me. He looked like his hip was sticking, or his lower back was sticking, or something. And I'd first like to see what's going on there, because I don't think he was at 100%. I'd love to see him. I don't know what's going on with his striking. There must be something he can do to improve it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
He can't really make it worse.
It has to be the worst in the UFC. I can't think of anybody else. I mean, Damian Maia normally has a disadvantage in the striking, and he looked like a good kickboxer.
He looked like he was lighting him up.
Yeah. And then, and the reason Askren was landing was just purely his intention in running forward and throwing. But then there was, like, he's probably got 8 or 10 pounds of body fat he could lose.
Yeah.
Like, you think about Ben Askren going, okay, I'm going to take 6 months off. I'm going to heal myself up. I'm going to work on my striking. I'm going to cut to lightweight.
And be a Matt Hughes.
Right. Can you imagine
enforcer.
Askren against Khabib?
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
It'd be so good. That'd be something that I'd be really, really keen to. Because the thing is, none of his losses, just tuning back in again with my clear voice.
You do so well, and then the mic just kind of slowly starts to drop away from you.
So I'm nodding off.
It's like your hands are falling asleep.
They are.
See, the thing is with these mics, what I'm realizing from wearing these stupid headphones is that if I talk into the side of the microphone, it just sounds muffled. And if I talk across the top of the microphone, it sounds like I'm miles away.
Does it sound like you're blowing bottles?
It sounds like I'm blowing bottles.
Don't blow me, son.
So, like, I have to talk like right directly into the microphone.
And I do keep getting the eyes.
There we go.
Just
I'm like, that's my.
There are a lot of eyes just coming to me, just like, hey, put the microphone in front of your mouth, you fucking idiot. You're so fucking stupid. But I don't think his losses have done anything bad to him because of the way he's reacted.
Yeah.
So the Masvidal thing probably gained fans.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah. Well, it makes him a little more human, doesn't it?
Yeah, because the Lawler thing. The problem is, after the Lawler thing, and he knows it was kind of crazy and a bit lucky and a bit of a weird fight, he came out afterwards and was like, oh, he beat anyone, they're fucking rubbish. But he wasn't even swearing. Like, he doesn't swear, does he?
No.
He
doesn't, does he?
No, he's like, oh, this mother effer. And you're like...
Yeah, shut the front door.
Yeah,
Ricky Lundell was always like that. I wonder if it's something about wrestling. Like if you wrestle hard enough, then you lose the need to swear.
I don't know. After I've seen the Foxcatcher with Steve Carell, I kind of struggle to trust anything wrestling wise. That's Mike off The Office. Do you know what I mean? Steve Carell just, yeah. But his losses haven't done anything bad for him. So no. I think if he did drop a weight, and he then was up against a Khabib or a Gagey or whoever, I'd be well into
Gillespie,
that. Up for
Kevin
that.
Lee.
Yes. Whereas he's just slowly drifting down this weight class real quick, just like dropping big chunks as well. So not even going from like second to third. He's now at like, if Maia's now calling out Diego and he's just beat Askren, then that puts Askren at like an 11. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that is the specific fucking ranking, but he's consistently losing.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, had that knee, in the Masvidal fight not landed, that fight could have quite easily gone the other way. And I'm sure Masvidal will admit that himself, because Askren's one of those kind of fighters. If he gets to you,
he's a wily
it's
bastard.
difficult to get him off you,
Yeah.
you know. And you know, it was against Damian Maia. Like
Yeah.
he was losing the striking battle predominantly. I mean, he was landing, but he was you know, he was getting outstruck by Damian Maia.
His
for
strength
the
is
most
also
part.
putting him in danger.
Yeah,
massively.
And then that's the thing. Like, he lost by submissions. But then, like, if you look at Askren in comparison to the rest of the division, like, there are a lot of guys that you would look at and think he would be a real problem for them. Like,
Yeah.
if you put him up against the winner of the Wonderboy Vicente Luque fight
Amazing.
this weekend, like, that would be a hard fight for both of them. And you look at the guys at the top of the division, like Colby Covington would be
Interesting.
it'd be an interesting fight. That would be Covington having to try and use his wrestling to keep it standing, so
Completely.
it wasn't mauled by Askren, which would be an interesting
Yeah.
flip of the coin for him. I'd also like to see him fight Dos Anjos. I think that'd be an interesting one. I'm not sure whether Dos Anjos is matched up, is he?
I don't know. The thing is, I think Ben Askren is a fantastic fighter.
Yeah.
I just think
He's a fantastic wrestler.
wrestler.
There's a lot missing from his game, though, and I would like to see him add more to it, because the wrestling skill set that he's got, if he could add some striking to that.
Wow. But this is what I was going to say. The fact that going down a weight, because at the minute with a casual fan, you just look, as a casual fan, you'd look and be like, well, he keeps losing. Whereas he's not. Like you said, if he had managed to get hold of Masvidal and implement his own game plan, that's all he's ever done. I mean, to be fair, as much as the Robbie Lawler was a crazy fucking finish and a weird fight, I know Masvidal completely intended to do what he did, but to get it to work is even more incredible.
It's like 1 in a million shot. It could go any number of different ways, and that's why it's so spectacular, because it's a massive roll of the dice, and that's why we love it. And what was interesting, like, I broke it. Did you see the Inside the Octagon yet?
I did.
You watched it?
Yeah.
It's, the Inside the Octagon for this weekend, because I snuck in a little sneaky Masvidal Askren breakdown in there, and talked about how you can see Askren leant towards the same side in both of his fights, with the Lawler and the. You know, so it was slightly educated, and I like the fact that he, you know, it's like put all his chips on red and just go for it, just try it.
Yeah.
And it worked, it paid off, and that's why he's in the big show this weekend. But Askren matched up against a lot of people in this division is still a real problem, and he's still a fun fight to watch. It's still an interesting character. And moving down a weight class, I think would. And there's just so many good fights at lightweight for him. Even against someone like Islam Makhachev, he was a great wrestler.
Well,
that would be fantastic to watch.
It seems to be a lot more impactful, slightly a lower weight class. When you look at like Matt Hughes, I know it's back in the day, but when someone was dominant in a smaller weight class where there wasn't as many one-punch knockouts and stuff. Do you know where?
Yeah. Well, it was like when Sean Sher, he was a welterweight, went down to lightweight.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's just this monster.
It's just an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he did to Kenny Florian. And that one elbow that Kenny Florian landed from the bottom that razor bladed him open.
Yeah. Filth.
That was mad.
Just talking about old school real quick. What about Joe Lozon the other week? How good was that?
Oh, he looked great, didn't he? He looked great. Yeah.
Fucking so good to see him back.
It is.
And very emotional for
and
him.
I don't think he needs to necessarily retire. I just think if the fights are right for him. I can't remember who I was discussing this with the other day. Was it the lovely Laura Sanko? I think it might have been.
The lovely Laura Sanko,
who's an excellent grappler as well.
She is.
Yeah, she was training with us the other day, and she's got some skills, and she's got some bony elbows and hips as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like she's like when she's cranking on submissions, she's not messing about. So we were chatting and we were talking about the sport as it is at the moment, and it's just kind of like you've got everybody that's in the running fighting for a title, then you've got a group of guys that are kind of towards the end of their career that are still respected and fun fighters to watch, and then there's the new breed of fighters that are a lot of fun to watch and are young enough to have the potential to be a champion, but you can tell that they're not ever going to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they just don't have. They're missing a couple of things, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, like, and this is no offense at all to him, and I'm sure he doesn't listen to the podcast, so it doesn't matter. But Mike Perry, is a good example. Like a great fun to watch. Lots of good skills, always a good chance. Almost like the second coming of Phil Baroni.
You're always tuning in, aren't you?
Yeah, always want to watch him
always.
fight. Almost definitely never going to hold a title. Just because there are so many guys out there that have got a better skill set as well as the physical tools, and they're not quite susceptible to losing their tempo as much as his.
And if they do, it's an Evan Tanner reign. You know where
Yeah.
it's like
you just
I'm the
raised club
fucking
somewhere,
champ.
bang,
Right.
gone.
Now you got to fight this
Yeah.
to defend it. Aww. And then you lose it.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in that.
No.
Because you live by the sword and you go big or go home.
But there's a place for those fighters in the UFC, and what we were discussing was how the sport, I think, in a few years will start to divide up. So you've got almost like you've got the running for the title, the guys that are legitimate contenders for the belt. Say that's 40% of the UFC roster.
Yeah.
Then you've got say that's 50% of the UFC roster. Then you've got 25% of the UFC roster that's those fighters that you can always put on the first fight on a main card, or the anywhere on a prelim to get really fired up, and they are the fun fights to watch that are never going to make it to a title, but you can always guarantee they're going to deliver. The Clay Guidas of the world,
veterans.
Exactly. Just fun fighters. And then you've got the guys that are, that were contenders back in the day, that were champions back in the day, that have passed their prime, that still want to fight. And then they're in a different pool.
Glover.
They're swimming in a group of people, in a pool of people that are all of the same kind of class.
Yeah.
So you're not having to have. I mean, it's like Uriah Faber's fighting Peter Yan.
Wow, that's brave, man.
I would say Uriah Faber's in the swimming around in the veterans kind of pool
completely.
and having some fun fights with the likes of Frankie Edgar,
putting on the fights we never got to see,
right?
Because
or fights across weight
missed.
classes that wouldn't have made sense at the time, but now can do because what's £10 amongst friends?
Yeah,
those kind of
completely.
Fights. Like a Uriah Faber,
Yeah,
Frankie
but
Edgar
Faber
kind of
against
fight.
Yan,
That's horrible, because that's Peter Yan still has the potential to be a champion, and
the hunger and desire, and they aggro.
Aggro.
Whereas Faber's like, I'm just had a little baby.
He's like a fucking
everything's
Siberian
good.
tiger. That kid, he's terrifying.
Well, that's it. Faber's like
crazy
thinking about
in his eyes.
surfing, and he's thinking about the next murder he's going to do. Do you know what I mean? So it's a different intention. It's almost like Rocky when Rocky fights Hulk Hogan as Thunderlips. And when they go in the ring and he sort of looks at him and smiles and says, we're just going to have a little bit of a knock. Yeah, all right, mate. And before you know it, he's getting thrown about. He's like, easy.
Do you know Frank Camacho watches every Rocky movie in order during fight week, every fight week.
There is
It's
no
his
Rocky
tradition.
5.
Hey?
There is no Rocky 5.
There's 4 of them. He watches 4 of them, right?
Yeah, you can watch 1 to 4, but don't watch 5. or 6.
Which one's the 5th one?
Tommy Gunn. There's no fight, is there? It's just that street fight when he's brought him up from nothing.
I never really got into Rocky.
Oh, really?
It was always martial arts movies for me.
I had both, but I had the soundtrack for Rocky, so it was more important. I watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was all about soundtrack.
So let's talk about the fights this weekend.
Okay, let me have a look. 1 sec.
Julio Arce, Hakeem Dawodu, Lyman Good, Chance Roundtree, Jennifer Meyer, Caitlin Chukagian, Andre Orlovsky, Jairzinho Rosenstruik. That's gonna be fireworks.
It fucking is.
Brad Tavares, Edmund Shabazian, Shane Burgos, Makwaname Khan is gonna be a fun one. Corey Anderson, Johnny Walker. It's an opportunity for both of them. It's an opportunity for Johnny Walker because he's a few rankings below, and he'll be able to jump up and start getting some really interesting fights after that. Corey Anderson has been complaining to everybody that I know for a long time that he's not mentioned enough in the rankings. He's not talked about enough.
Oh, really?
The issue is that people just don't gravitate towards his style. He's not impactful enough in his style or his interviews or anything. So he needs these wins. He needs wins over the likes of Johnny Walker. If he beats Johnny Walker, then we've got Corey Anderson in interesting conversations.
Well, nothing springs to mind when you say Corey Anderson. For me, nothing jumps out for me to go, oh yeah, like that spinning back elbow on Stefan Bonner. Or,
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing.
I remember Jimmy Manuwa knocking him out. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, and he looked terrified.
Yes, he did.
I mean,
Jimmy,
yeah.
But he's on a 3-fight win streak, but then it's 3 decisions.
That's it.
So
and I don't think Johnny Walker's going to a decision.
No.
But talking about Johnny Walker, just quick, when I was driving home the other day after we were talking about Adesanya and Johnny Jones, do you remember when Anderson went up to light heavyweight twice and fought Stefan Bonner?
Yep.
For James Irvin, Forrest, and Stefan.
Yep.
But the James Irvin and Forrest, the first two were fucking
blitzed him.
Insane.
I was at that James Irvin fight.
It was amazing, and the Sandman was fucking good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
But would you be interested, rather than seeing Israel fight John Jones straight away? Because I think that Johnny Walker could put on a good show with John. Do you reckon that Israel against Johnny Walker, just for him to jump up to light heavyweight, just to go, there you go, I can do it.
I think you put Adesanya in there against any of those light heavyweights and he looks small. That's my concern. If you stood Adesanya up against the wall with Dominic Reyes, Alexander Rakic, Johnny Walker, and John Jones, he clearly looks like a middleweight.
The thing is, when he was stood against Anderson, he didn't look that small. And then because Anderson went up and fought Stefan and Forrest, and I've stood next to Stefan and I've stood next to Forrest. Stefan's head is like the size of my torso. It's fucking giant massive. So I don't know. The thing is, rather than chucking him straight in at John Jones, because it looked like Anderson was going to do that. When Anderson went up and fought Forrest, it was like he was clearing out the middleweight and now he's going to go up and fight for light heavyweight.
Yeah.
And he was just having that tester run. I think Israel against Johnny Walker, that'd be fucking amazing.
It'd be a lot of fun to watch. There's
and
a
if he
lot of
did
chaos
win
in
that,
Johnny Walker's game.
if he beat Johnny Walker, then that's a definite John Jones is next.
Yeah, that's a good shout. What do you reckon? Kevin Lee, Gregor Gillespie's going to be a wrestle fest.
Wow, yeah. And
Gregor
hopefully Kevin
Gillespie's
Lee's cardio is going to...
Well, this is the thing. I just think he might be too big for lightweight now. I think he's a bit stuck between weight classes. And then Derek Lewis, Ivanov. Derek Lewis with the power. Ivanov's got good boxing skills. He's got a scary scar in the middle of his chest. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
That's that. Was he not? It was like the story's like he was stabbed in a bar. That looks like an execution to me.
Yeah,
And
I
that's like
normally know scars. That's bad, isn't it?
That's like, yeah.
I can normally
That's
tell
like
you...
surgical. That's a...
Yeah, I can normally tell you why, who's got what scar. Like the Nog era, the big Nog got run over by a dustbin lorry, didn't he?
Is that right?
And was told he'd never walk or whatever again, and then now he's fucking...
Yeah, just watch. Yeah, watch Bob Slap. Bob Slap.
Bob Slap. Bob Slap.
Watch Bob Slap slam him on his head. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that wasn't nice.
That knocked him out, didn't it? You said that.
Yeah. Poor big Nog. But Derek Lewis, he doesn't seem to mind getting hit.
No, he doesn't, unless it's to the body.
Yeah.
Who was it that
nearly made him poo himself?
No, it was Volkov.
Yeah.
Was it Volkov before he knocked Volkov out?
But
Volkov
like the
kicking him in the body, and it was
last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Volkov's got to watch that back and just be furious. But have you seen Volkov is now fighting
Greg Hardy? Dude, we've already recorded that show for Volkov against JDS.
Shut up.
I watched the whole of his back catalogue and pretty much the whole of JDS's back catalogue.
Oh, mate.
Up until the point where his hair started to fall out. I watched all of those fights.
Who's Cigano's hair? I tried to get myself one of the Nike Cigano shirts the other day.
No, I even watched the fights back to where he had hair. It looks like
man.
but then there was a question was raised. They were like, do you think we need to put these in chronological order so it makes sense that his hair got thinner throughout the playlist? I'm like, no, I think people can realize that sometimes he has hair and other times he doesn't.
I can't believe that's a question. Someone's employed to ask that.
That was a question that was brought up during the filming of the thingy. And
if the question was, do you reckon we should even film this because we're not going to need it? That's worse, isn't it?
Man, that time's gone though. I never get that back.
No,
time is gone. And I love the comments. Like, so some of the comments on Inside the Octagon. I actually replied to a couple.
Oh, nice.
I actually replied to a couple.
Did you change some minds?
Well, I realised once I'd replied to them that I was still logged in under the Full Reptile YouTube channel.
Oh, that's a good thing to hide behind.
So my initial thought is that they won't know it's me. So anybody that's actually listening and saw those replies from the Full Reptile channel, that is absolutely me.
Yeah.
Where is it? I want to see how it's doing. 635,000 it's on at the moment. That's a good lot of views.
Mate, and that's Monday, dude.
Fight. I know, yeah. Yeah.
What about?
There was a guy that was saying like he was talking shit because I pointed out to hit duck into the same knee, and it was like there was nothing to be found from that. It was just lucky. I'm like, no, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. There's quite a clear path.
Yeah, and there's video of Masvidal training specifically exactly what he was going to do.
Right.
Hours before.
I know. Anyway,
so what did you make of the Diaz drama last week?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. I'm as confused as anybody about this USADA stuff, because like every time I hear of something that someone's tested positive for, I've never heard of it before.
Okay.
I've never heard of it before. Like back in the day when I was training at all the bodybuilding gyms, because a lot of the time when we were training in the Roughhouse days, we were using a boxing ring in a bodybuilding gym.
Yeah.
So like predominantly it was strength and conditioning equipment. It was like old rusty weights and dumbbells and meatheads and loads of gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone using all kinds of stuff to make them big and strong, and like I was familiar with those names because I heard them quite a lot. Like it was like Anavar and Winstrol, and like that was what I would hear, and like just people would just say testosterone. Like some of the shit I'm hearing about now, like what the fuck is SARM? It sounds like some kind of skin disease. It like that. Like
something when you go to a christening.
it's like something you get like in some third world country, and you get back to your country, and like you'd be quarantined. 'Cause
Sorry,
it's
mate, you
eating
got
your
SARM.
arm. Yeah, sorry.
You gotta lose a finger.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And like, what was the other thing? The thing that the tainted supplement that Jimmy tested positive for.
Domino's.
Osarine. Domino. Fish food. Ben and Jerry's fish
Yeah.
food. Osarine. Never heard of it before in my life.
No.
I don't know what. And the thing with Diaz was in an organic vegan supplement that he bought from Whole Foods. Nobody's safe.
Should there not be more policing around the company that's making it, that it has to be tested?
They absolutely should. That's the problem with the market. No supplements there have to be FDA approved. There was who did a documentary about it? I think it was the Bigger, Stronger, Faster guys.
Okay.
And they drove over to Home Depot and they got a bunch of like day workers. They paid them a few dollars and they brought them back, and they got them to like mix all these powder up and put them in caps, and then the caps go in the bottles and they're heat sealed and they made labels, and like by the end of the day they basically got a product that had nothing in it that was of any use that they could sell on the market. And it's terrible. It's really bad, and it's difficult to know who to trust now.
Well, I know of companies in the UK that have approached me to help them, branding, graphics, whatever it is, and their supplements, and it's in people's sheds, like a garden shed.
Oh shit!
And not that you know before you get there, but they're like, oh yeah, we're thinking about doing this, and they come across as like big fucking companies, and you get there and it's someone's shed, and there's just a dude scooping stuff out of a bag, measuring stuff out, and I'm like,
oh no,
holy shit!
And
But
cat crawling all over it.
for real, yeah. To me, it seems more like UFC have invested so much into their athletes. They insure their athletes. So there's so many more elements that they're working towards to make it bang on. And like even with USADA and everything else, how much would it be to basically supply all athletes with supplements?
That is a great question, and it's something that I have heard somebody bring that up before. Like the UFC could create their own supplement line.
Yeah, because it would go to a consumer range. We could help.
Shall I have a word with Uncle Dana?
Just
and see
tell
if he
Uncle
wants
Dana.
to lend us the UFC brand. Just lend it us.
Yeah,
just let us put UFC's brand supplements out on the
we've
market.
got a chemistry set.
We'll find someone to do that.
Well, the thing is, then someone's held accountable. And I'm not trying to push out all these other brands, because clearly there's a bigger market than just MMA. But for all the athletes that are on board, even if it meant that if you have a successful fight camp and you get to the end, we'll bill you, or you'll pay for your supplements, or not even that you have to fucking pay for it, but surely I know there's a big sponsorship element that people are getting sponsored by Muscle Farm and fucking RTX, or not RTX. I clearly don't use any supplements.
I don't know. Yeah.
But like multi-power
now.
All these
multi-power.
all these different.
Is that one?
Yeah, multi-power is decent.
Oh yeah. No, I think I've never seen that in the US. Though. I think that was more of a US brand.
A
UK brand.
But why? Surely, you know, when we got to fight week, and Diego was there, and they were like, right, there's your trainers, there's your gloves, there's your bag, there's your t-shirt,
there's your multivitamin, there's your fish oil.
Exactly.
Or even a shorter term solution. Create a like a testing process or a registration process for supplement companies. So say Onnit, for example, or Xbrain or whoever, they decide that they want to be a registered UFC approved supplement company. So then they submit their supplements, it goes through a series of testing, then the UFC goes, yes, this is a brand that you as athletes can buy your supplements off.
Yeah.
That also then makes those athletes available for sponsorship for those companies. Yeah, pre-approved, there you go. I knew you'd have a word for it.
I just think it's more important. I just think, you imagine, this time last week, to be fair, when Diaz said, fuck you lot, yeah, to be fair. When he said, fuck you lot,
I know you're listening, Raptors.
I was just worried, because I wanted to pretend I hadn't seen it. And I held out hope. It wasn't like when Aldo dropped out of the McGregor fight one of the times, or when someone else has dropped out. Because, you know, the amount of times we've got to the day before, even when Whittaker fell out of that fight on the day, it's fucking devastating. So
or you open Instagram and the first thing you see is John Jones crying at a press conference like 2 days before the fight, and you're like,
Yeah, with DC walking around in like smart trousers and a pair of Air Max 90s. What are you doing, Grandad? This ain't a fucking school trip.
He does dress like a geography teacher sometimes.
Completely dressed like a geography teacher that's been allowed to go on a field trip just for the day. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I can't wear my hush puppies. Best stick on my Air Max 90s. The originals, not even like a fucking rework.
Dust them off.
But when he came out and he said that, I was just like, fuck, man. Like, surely UFC must have been pissed because things moved fast.
Yeah, they did.
It wasn't even like you started like, no, fuck you. Just deal with it. You've been caught.
Yeah.
He was like, I ain't doing fuck all till you fucking fix it. And I don't know if Dana's sick of hearing that Nate's not a needle mover yet. But holy shit, he almost caused a fucking...
No, Dana knows it. He said he was at the
I know he's gone back since, but the amount of times he must have heard it and have it thrown back at him. For Nate to hold USADA hostage, that's pretty fucking impressive, wasn't it?
Oh, it's funny. It's why we love this sport, right? It's
For real.
It's crazy. Go on, let's talk about that fight then, and then there's two other fights that we need to talk about in the card.
Go on then. What are you telling me about Masvidal and Diaz? What are you thinking?
I'm fortunate because I'm not working in an official capacity for the UFC this weekend, even though I would be present. I can kind of make a prediction, and I feel like Masvidal was too much for Diaz. I feel like he's smart enough to not take too much damage and get worn down in the early rounds, and I feel like he's intelligent enough to be able to set up his shots and land stuff that's significant to hurt Diaz in the process of Diaz moving forward.
Okay.
On the flip side, if Diaz is going to win, he has to take a bunch of shots. He has to walk Masvidal down, and he has to put himself on the line, and I think that's risky for him.
Does it end up under the ground at any point?
I don't think so, because I think Masvidal's takedown defense and sub-defense is good enough to not allow Diaz in. Like, if you think back to the scrambles against Damian Maia that he had, that first round, he defended 3-4 takedowns before he ended up standing with Damian Maia in a body triangle on his back.
Yeah.
And then he stood there for 3 minutes with Maia on his back, and then was able to escape the body triangle and land some good ground and pound. And I don't feel like Nate has got the ground game, the grappling that Damian Maia has. I think that's safe to say. He's tricky, but he's not as forceful.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think he's got the same, but I think he's got a bit more of unorthodox ground game.
Yeah.
Especially after having his brother and fighting and training with his... Because nothing that the Diaz brothers do is orthodox.
No.
So I think sometimes the Maia thing is almost very much bread and butter. He's very clinical. He's a lot older.
Yeah.
So maybe some of that wiry strength or that explosiveness, he's got the methodology and he knows what he needs to do and he can put you in danger, like we saw him at the weekend. But that was a very tired Askren.
But yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas Diaz has got a little bit, I don't know if, because he's a bit younger and he's got that triathlete strength and just that, I don't know, to me I see it that if it goes to the ground, it's not even like Masvidal's in danger, but it could be one of those really quick, fucking that's on and it's tight, either guillotines, triangles. But
I think if it does, though, it will have to be a case of Masvidal being tired at that point.
Do you think?
Yeah, I don't, because I don't see Nate coming out and taking him down fast and subbing him. I mean, now I've said that, it'll probably be exactly what happens. I just don't see it with. And this is what I try and explain to people when I'm doing Inside the Octagon. I'm not trying to predict what's going to happen based on what improvements might have happened and what changes we might see in their game. I'm going based off what I've already seen.
Yeah.
And I think that Diaz will start fast and he'll try and put pressure on Masvidal. I don't feel like Masvidal is going to break under the pressure that he would to get it to a grappling match, and I don't think Diaz has the grappling to get it to a grappling match in the first round.
Can't get away from it.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards Masvidal. If it ends up in a grappling exchange, I think it will be because Diaz has been more successful on the feet than I expected, and Masvidal's gotten tired under the pressure.
Yeah. I mean, you can only go off what you've seen, really. And at the end of the day, it is only opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a load of comments whenever you put anything. It's just like, oh, well, that didn't happen. It's like, look, I'm not saying I'm fucking predicting the future, for fuck's sake. I'm only going off what I've seen. And the problem is, it depends in what order what you've seen. So, like, if you look at Short Hair Masvidal, when he was fighting Ben
Sharp
Henderson.
edges.
short hair,
Nice
sharp
and
edges, Masvidal, when he was fighting Ben Henderson, before ages ago when he fought Paulie, when he was a name again, one of those Veterans League, when it was a decent name if you knew it, but he wasn't necessarily always winning. It wasn't a 100% record. Whereas now he's sort of developed this Jesus fucking repertoire, and he is murdering fools.
Yeah.
And the problem is, there's no denying it. Like he had a word with Cowboy, jumped in, spandangled Till in a calculated manner.
Yeah.
Then he killed Askren and took his soul. Again, very calculated. When you got someone like Mike Brown, you've got a cheat code. The fact that Mike Brown is there going, yo, don't worry, I'll watch some video. You just crack on, keep fucking jogging, and I'll let you know what bits you need to know, because he essentially dissects every element of what Diaz does and can just feed it straight back to him. I mean, the fact that it's very, at the minute, very humble. The fact that Masvidal came out and said, I know you're the cleanest in the game and all this. There's no need for smack talk, but I think as soon as that cage door is closed, there's bad intentions.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Masvidal is at a position now where he feels that this is his time, and he's worked for this. He's owed this. Whereas I agree the same with Nate, but Nate's had the last 2 or 3 years of this massive rise off of a couple of wicked fights with Conor, and he's made that little bit of cash. Do you know what I mean? He's sitting on a few mil now, where Masvidal feels.
I wonder how much he's worth.
It's got to be 3 or 4 mil.
I wonder if he's made more from his outside of the UFC opportunities, like with these CBD stuff. I bet he kills with that stuff. Everybody wants to be using Diaz products.
Yeah, I mean,
If he brought his own strain out. He did, didn't he? He had his
own.
Diaz pre-rolls.
He had his own green, his own pre-rolls. He had Represent doing, and it's only Represent that are doing the Nate Diaz line.
Is that right?
Which, as a small independent brand like ourselves, to get that deal is going to be quite. I mean, I don't know if it's just because they've always had his back, because he used to wear a lot of Throwdown and Triumph and Metal Militia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
His scrap pack were all Metal Militia.
Yeah. Not a good look.
It wasn't the best, but I mean, now Represent is following him. So the thing is, I think he's making good decisions, and he's a smart dude.
He is.
He's very, very smart, and I think he's really clever with everything. Whereas I think the journeys they're both on, I think Nate feels like he should be there, which I've got no denying in, but Masvidal absolutely feels like he's got something to prove. And I think my head says that Masvidal's too big.
Yeah, he does look more like a welterweight now, for sure. That's definitely something that I would agree with, and I do think that would be a factor. What do you reckon to Till against Gastelum? Well, give me a pick for that one first. Give me a prediction for that quick.
Head says Masvidal.
Yep.
And heart says I don't really mind. Honestly, either one. Could be a draw 5 times over. It's like that film I told you about, Play It to the Bone, with Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas, boxing film.
Head says Masvidal, bong says Diaz.
Really? Take that.
What about Till Gastelum? Till looks like a fucking tank. He's massive. Did you see that photo that I posted? I look like a fucking borrower on it. I look like they've done a Lord of the Rings camera trick.
I've seen the video.
I look so small.
The video that Mystery sent me, where Till is halfway through saying something, lifts up, farts, and carries on talking.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could be more English.
We should put that out. We should put that out as a clip on its own.
Mate, it was a proper little squeaking, floating in air biscuit, wasn't it? Like,
properly floated one.
I don't know. The thing is, Gastelum.
Yeah, you do. Go on, have a pick.
I've always respected Gastelum ever since Uriah Hall.
Yeah.
He wasn't meant to win that.
No.
And he
did great against Adesanya as well.
He did really good against Adesanya. He knocked out a half knocked out Bisping, which was fair enough.
That's
but
true.
As much as he's had those, I'm still feeling like Till's got more to offer. He's too dangerous. He's so long and big.
So long.
He's just like he's fighting a different weight class.
Yeah. He is a decent size. Till is. I think people are going to be surprised when they see them face off. I'm excited to see them face off because I think that's when people are going to realise this fight's more competitive than people are giving Till credit for. And I know, and this is something that fucking comes up. And I said, I said that we were going to briefly touch on it, and then I changed my mind, and now I'm deciding to change my mind again.
All right. What we going
Because
for?
I know I'm going to get some shit for this, because I always fucking do. Hang on a minute, let me have a drink. My mouth's dry.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about.
I got some fucking
Shit flickers,
I don't need an unpleasant name for him, do I? Shithouse.
pickle dickers.
There was some shithouse on Twitter. Made a comment after the Stevie Ray fight that I am always biased towards European fighters. And my reply to him was, well, my initial reply was deleted a few seconds afterwards because I realised it was inappropriate for children.
In case your mum saw it.
Well, I have a lot of people that follow me. I don't want to offend anybody. So I deleted it. It was unnecessary. And my reply was that... what was my reply? That everyone's on their own journey. And I'm really not bothered. I don't care where they're from. It's nice to see European fighters to win because I want to see MMA improving in Europe.
Completely.
Because, you look at the US is like 70% of the UFC roster. Like, Brazil has got loads of good fighters. There are like GSP has put Canada on the map as one of the best. Japan's always been up there. Then there are like other good European countries, and it's nice to see European fighters coming up and having Europe have a more of a presence on the international scene.
Yeah, and you can relate to a degree to know what struggle they've been through,
Yeah.
where they've come from.
Exactly, and there's still a struggle. I mean, there are still few MMA gyms around that are any good, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I've travelled around the UK. There are some good spots. There are some good coaches. Fortunately, like some of my generation now have retired and they're coaching. So you've got like Matt Thorpe, who I fought for the Cage Warriors title. You've got Mark Spencer, who used to fight for Cage Warriors, who's excellent. There are loads of good. Alex Owen, who's got some great fighters as well. There are loads of people, and then other people like Richard Shaw, Shaky Shaw, who's Jack Shaw's dad. They've got their gym's opening in a week. I think they're on the 7-day countdown. There are some really good places around the UK, but it's still few and far between. And like you go into one of those gyms and they've got 4 or 5 good fighters, and then the rest are a decent level, but are not. There's not enough competition on the mat to necessarily challenge them to make them excel as fast as someone would if they were at, say, ATT or which is why you still see fighters leaving and going to TriStar, and Syndicate is a popular one, AKA. We still get a lot of European fighters going to the US because the standard is higher over there. So it's nice to see European fighters coming up, but I am in no way biased towards European fighters because I really don't care.
No.
Like I think what it is, I've been contemplating it. I think someone who was watching the Stevie Ray Michael Johnson fight, that was a fan of Stevie Ray, was listening to it with the idea that I'm biased towards Stevie Ray because I was getting excited because Stevie Ray was coming back in the fight. That is my job, to be excited about the fight. If you go back and listen,
you can insert any other fighter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter who they are, where they're from. I'm always buzzing because I want to see someone get finished, because I want to see good martial arts. I don't care whereabouts that martial arts is from. Like if you listen to Masvidal against Darren Till, and you can see it from one of the camera angles. I am the first one out of my seat. I'm screaming. I'm like, it doesn't matter who it is. Every single individual is on their own journey. I've met people from all over the world. Every single fighter that I've met, I wish them the best. And the idea of me favouring is.
I think anyone that would ever say that you're being biased towards a European fighter would only have to watch the Masvidal thing to go, oh, hold on a minute. Because I genuinely feel you should watch most fights more than once.
Yeah. Having said that, I did go back and watch the Till Woodley breakdown, and occasionally, what I've realised I do, especially if one fighter is an underdog, and this again is irrelevant of their geographical location of birth. If there's someone that's a heavy underdog, I always try and stack the analysis slightly more on their side. Yeah. Because I want to even the fight out. Yeah. I want to give you a good reason that both fighters are going to win. That's the idea of the analysis. I don't want you to... what would be the point in me putting out an analysis this weekend and going, this is what's going to happen. Masvidal's going to...
You can fucking smash him to pieces.
Exactly.
See you tomorrow.
Then we're like, oh, okay.
Well, if
I want to give you a good argument for both sides,
Yeah,
and if there's a
you dig a bit
underdog,
deeper.
Exactly.
Because if someone was to break down you against GSP, just look at what GSP had done by the time you fought him and who you were in comparison.
That's the
Does
thing.
that make sense? If someone would have gone, all right, so GSP versus Dan Hardy, he's going to fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Join us next week.
What's most likely going to happen is armbar in the first round.
Yeah.
That's most likely.
Yeah. And literally, that would have been it. They wouldn't have even looked into the fact that you've been to Hong Kong or you've done any of that
Hong
shit.
Kong?
China. They wouldn't have looked into anything because they're not digging deep. They're not showing interest. But I think some of it sometimes can come down to you can be inadvertently proud because even like this weekend, England won rugby.
And that's crazy, right?
Right.
They were watching it backstage. I only saw the first part of the game.
Ask me how little of a fuck I could give about
I don't
that.
care.
But
it's cool.
I can still be proud of the guys that did that.
Yeah.
And know that, well, that's England. Fuck yeah.
It's our tribe, isn't it? It's
We're
weird.
yeah.
We're very tribal. We're very tribal as creatures.
But I think if
There's
you
nothing
watch...
wrong with that. Nothing malicious in it.
No. And if you watch any fight twice and just listen out for one person, it sounds biased. Doesn't matter who's commentating. Because all you have to do is convince yourself they're being biased and it sounds fucking biased. This sounds stupid. But watch any commentator and just focus on one fighter. It's normally the person you want to win.
Yeah. I have to watch fights a few times. This is why, like with the Stevie Ray Michael Johnson fight from this weekend, I need to watch that again before I'm really sure of who I felt won the fight, because I'm looking at it in hindsight from, being cage side, which is it gives you a very different perspective as well.
Yeah.
Some of the shots that you can hear, honestly, the sound of those body kicks that were coming in from Cyril, I like saying his name, Cyril Gan.
Mate, when they played that back, I thought he was going to shit his pants.
He might have done.
Honestly, I would not have been surprised. That clap.
It was like a crack of thunder.
The amount of times you've seen people turn away and then 2 seconds later drop holding their stomach, you're like, how the fuck are you not dead?
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst getting caught in the body. Yeah. It is the worst.
Because
The worst thing about it is it's happening. And fortunately for me, I've been hit with body shots in fights and I've felt them in the fight, and I remember feeling like I need to kind of get on my bike here and move and kind of, allow my body to recover a little. But I've never been dropped with a body shot in a fight. But I've been dropped a couple of times in training. Like we used to body spar on Saturday mornings until everyone's been down at least once. And I was sparring with some wicked boxers at the time, Ricardo Sams and stuff. And it's the worst feeling because it's like. It feels like your soul's been stolen.
Mate, I thought I could smell colours when I got it in the stomach for the first time.
What colours could you smell?
Purple.
What did it smell like?
I don't know, bat droppings. Something fucking mental.
Guano. I think that's called guano, is that right?
Ace Ventura, respect. But it was...
Educational.
It was only through my friend Dylan. He had a bigger brother. And Ray was... I think he was 18 and we were, say, 11. So he was a proper dude. He could drive, he could take his places, he could smoke. So he was cool as fuck. And whenever we fought, we used to play fight a lot. And it was always grappling or like head hunting, trying to punch each other.
Of course.
And Dylan once came up to me and we were about to play fight and he put his hand like a flat hand and just jabbed it into my stomach. Straight under the rib. And I swear to God, I thought I was going to die. I nearly pooed myself. I could smell colours. It was all like stars and shiny, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
And it was only when I came round that it was like, oh yeah, my brother showed me. He did it to me last night, and I was like, fuck you. It really, really fucking hurt. But it served me well when I used to have a few fights with people because I was quite small. Someone would start something, I'm like, if I could get out a swifty jab under the ribs because I had little stealing fingers.
It's the worst though. Like I remember the first time I got wind of, I fell on the handlebars of my bike. I was out in the back garden, and the back garden wasn't particularly big. And I'm cycling in circles, and then I turned the front wheel a bit too harsh. Yeah, exactly. The bike stopped, and I just went right onto the end of and I just thought, it was literally a platoon moment. I thought I was dying. Yeah. I fell to my knees, stared up at the sky.
Fell to your knees, arms up like you're doing the YMCA.
I'm so appreciative of these 7 years of life that you've given me.
Dude. But being winded is a lot like a ball shot. You know when they give you the replay? I can remember being kneed in the balls by a girl, Lucy Patrick.
Did you get her back?
Oh, mate, I wish. I fucking wish.
We should find her. We should track her down.
I was always brought
at
up.
her house.
You can't hit a girl, but you can shake her. And honestly, she hit me so hard that by the time I'd got to my feet, she'd ran that far that I couldn't do anything. Couldn't tell her mum anything. And that's a very similar pain to being winded. You know that, like, you can't breathe in again because there's no more room.
Yeah.
And you're going to be sick a little bit.
It's like it's like your diaphragm thinks your lungs are still full, but your lungs have been emptied by the impact.
Yes.
So there's a disagreement going on between your brain and your diaphragm. I think that's what it is.
It knocks you stupid
in a very simple way.
It knocks any common sense out of your brain because you can be a grown man and wind yourself, and you're like, I'm going to die. It's like, you're fucking not going to die, you twat.
I think this is my final moment.
Oh, dude. Well, I was even thinking.
Anyway.
I was thinking about being knocked stupid the other day when we were talking to Jimmy, and I remembered that I should have probably admitted at the time on the podcast, because we might have given him a hard time. I once forgot my ABCs.
At what age was this?
Probably 14.
Oh no.
So I forgot the alphabet purely because I'd trained myself how to say the alphabet in lowercase. So normally it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah.
Well,
you go Abaca.
Abacada, Effiga, Herta, Jekyll, Lemonette, right?
Oh no.
So I'd done that, and then the way I was taught the alphabet was pre-Sesame Street. So when they say at the end VWXYZ,
yeah,
it's not the same tune to
Z.
Z.
Yeah, which is what we say over in the UK for those worldwide.
Yeah, so worldwide. So I just wanted to put it out there that I have knocked myself stupid a few times. So if I did rip Jimmy for being daft and forgetting the alphabet, I literally did forget the alphabet once when I was about 14, and I'm not going to recite it now because I'd probably get it wrong.
What do you reckon to the Wonderboy Thompson fight against Luque?
Hold on, who's winning out of Till and Gastelum?
Oh, I'm going to roll the dice and say Darren Till's going to stop him in the
4.
third.
There's only 3 in it.
Third, yeah.
Oh, that's wank.
Yeah, innit?
Because
I reckon Till might stop him late.
I think if Till, I'd like to see Till stop him like
And that's
Israel
not
did.
bias, it's just like an underdog story.
I just want to see him come back. He's had his couple of losses.
Yeah.
I just want to see what he does different.
Plus Gastelum doesn't really lose anything by losing to Darren, I don't think.
No,
I just think
fuck?
it introduces a new contender into the division.
Well, yeah. I mean, the
Which is
fact that he
exciting.
beat Wonderboy, is
Yeah.
like Till's already beat Wonderboy. Had that little bit of a rise. If this was after the Wonderboy fight,
Yeah.
what you're saying, definitely Till all day, unstoppable.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're a bit more cautious because he's closed his eyes a couple of times, right?
Yeah. But I think he's going to look refreshed, though, at middleweight. I think it's a healthy weight class for him.
Yeah. Well, you've been saying that for how long? Didn't he missed weight? Did he nearly miss weight for the title fight? Was that when his girlfriend was pregnant?
No, it was that was the Wonderboy fight.
It was because he did
was
Cowboy then
struggling-
Wonderboy.
He was
didn't he?
struggling that week because he was. I remember seeing him at the media day on Thursday, and he was rough. Then his mouth was dry, and he was
Not good.
no, not good at all. Whereas the more recent, I think the Woodley fight, I think I mean, not that this is a good reason. I think he got caught with a good shot by a guy that can hit like a truck. But I think he put so much on the weight cut against Woodley that he took his eyes off the actual fight itself a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he felt overconfident for the Woodley fight, and that was.
Well, I think he did a
Obviously,
Poirier against Khabib and sort of knew that he was good, knew he could do it, got in there, and then went, whoa, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's like it was like it was an unfair, like, no, he's got 5 arms. This isn't fair. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Till win, just to see what's next. So what are you saying again about Wonderboy?
I think I don't know. I don't know, honestly. Every time I try and turn my brain onto it, it starts to, well, it looks like a video game in my head. It's a bit like Mortal Kombat, and I can see it playing out different ways. Like, I think Luque is slightly more aggressive. I think he pushes forward in more square stance. He's got a bit more of a Thai boxing kind of style of striking. Wonderboy is obviously a lot more side on and needs more space to work. So I think if Luque can control the center, but not get caught in the traps that Wonderboy likes to set.
That's what I was just about to say. Is he going to go a bit old school?
Wonderboy likes to fight going backwards. He likes to let people come to him so he can set them up. He struggles more when people wait for him.
Yes.
Like when he was fighting Woodley.
Yeah.
Like Woodley was waiting for Wonderboy to to strike so he could counter, and then Wonderboy didn't want to start the combination, whereas someone like Luque will automatically come forward.
It's his first fight since he's lost to Pettis.
Yes,
which was big as well.
Yeah, but a fight he was winning.
Yeah,
and I still think Wonderboy is one of the best strikers in the division. I just also think Vicente Luque is. I don't know how to pick that one. I really don't.
I'm looking forward to that. I like Wonderboy. Yeah. He's such a nice dude. When he got knocked out, it was the most grace. Well, shucks. A little guy comes along and knocks me out. Gosh damn. You're like, what?
Yeah.
He didn't get mad at all.
He didn't. So, go on.
I was just going to say, BMF belt, is it going to be a thing of beauty?
I think so. I can't wait to see it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I can't imagine what it's going to look like. I hope it doesn't look too much like the regular world title belts.
I hope they've not just done the UFC font and put BMF.
Oh, you know what would be cool is if it looked like one of the old school UFC belts.
Yes.
With the dude with the arms stretched
the
out.
Original, yeah.
Yeah, that would be
But
really
like
cool.
BMF with Phil Baroni as the guy's face. With a
Phil
top
Baroni
hat.
needs to award it.
I think he does. Yeah. So if Masvidal walks out of here with a BMF belt, what does he do with it? What's next? Is he going to call someone out? Is he going to look for the red panty party? What are you thinking? And same question really as if Nate wins it. Does it? I know this is a one-time deal apparently, but if Conor knows there's a belt out there he's not got, he's going to want that belt.
Yeah, I don't think it's a one-time belt, and I'll tell you why. Is because if you go on UFC Fight Pass, and this is me. People have got this idea that because I work for the UFC, I'm on some kind of inside secret fucking
ever.
I have no idea.
And I try. Trust me. I ask all the questions.
He does all the time. I hear the occasional thing, the occasional rumor or whatever, but I don't put any weight in it because most of it's nonsense. So I know as much as everybody else. So I'm purely going based off what I see. I'm on UFC Fight Pass 6 hours a day. If I divided it up like the hours per week that I spend on Fight Pass, it would probably work out between 5 or 6 hours a day I'm on Fight Pass. It's a lot. It's too much. The thing that's on Fight Pass at the moment is the resumes, the BMF resumes of a few different fighters, and fighters that would quite clearly be good contenders for that belt if it were to continue.
Yeah.
And it's basically making an argument for, here's a selection of people that might be good for this belt once the belt's been claimed by one of the first two BMFs. And I'm not against it because I think it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't even mind like the best MMA grappler belt being out there.
Yes.
And, you know what I mean? Because then it gives people another type, like the world champion's the world champion.
Yes.
Nothing's going to stand by that. If you can have a world champion that's also got the best MMA grappler and the bad motherfucker belt, now we're talking.
Well, sometimes you see boxers come out with like 19 belts, don't you?
I love it.
And it's like, what are they for? And it's like, well, this is for
parade.
Yeah, this is for making tea. That's for origami. It's like, fuck, man, you're the man.
I always wanted a wall full of belts. I've got a couple of really nice Cage Warriors ones, and the rest of the ones I got were all trash, so I got rid of them. But like, was it Bernard Hopkins? There was a photograph, and it always stuck in my mind. I've got it saved somewhere on my hard drive, and I'm sure it's Bernard Hopkins, and he's standing
with
on
his
the
belts.
Ropes of a boxing ring. He's standing behind the ropes with his leaning on the ropes. And all of his belts are just hanging on the ropes.
Nice.
And it just looks fucking awesome.
It's like, do you see when DJ did it? Did DJ have like 10 defenses or something? And then he had
12?
one belt, and then, but at the time.
They delivered them all.
And they just dropped them all off. But I had an idea, because I'm not saying that UFC is the monopoly, but UFC is the most consumed, the most I watch. And I think sometimes the headline of the undercard or the up-and-coming fighters, there's almost an option there for belts and they're not even interim, but it's like a amateur and professional, right? So when you get into the UFC, I'm not saying by any stretch you're an amateur, because you're not, but if you've had anything under 10 fights, so this would have been DC when he came into the MMA, right? He didn't have many fights, did he?
No.
So, until you get up to 10 fights, and if that's made up of 10 wins or 5 wins, 5 losses, whatever it is, you're fighting for a B-level belt. It's still a UFC belt, but you are the amateur champion. But not amateur, if that makes sense. So, like, you still got your John Jones up there who's had 25, 30 fights, and he's the champion. You're gunning for him. But you're only going to be pitched against people who have got under 10 fights.
Yeah.
So you're all within that same pool. So then when you leave that pool for your 11th fight, you leave the belt behind and you go up like Volkanovski. So you know when Volkanovski came in and he was a rugby player and he was a bit of a bad man, he's worked his way up and he's won all these fights being a badass, but he's still under the 10. So like, yeah, you can fast track him in for a fight, but he's fighting within his own little pool, but there's a belt for it. So there's double the belts, but does that make sense?
Kind of. I know what you mean, yeah. I always wonder whether they could divide it into like, because the way that they used to do Muay Thai was tiers. So you'd have A class, B class, and C class fighters.
Yeah.
And you could basically qualify for the next class up after a certain amount of fights or wins. And I think that would work. Like you could, like if you had somebody coming off Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, like their first fight, it goes, if they get 3 wins in a row, they go from being a C class to a B class. They get the next challenge up. If they go 2-2, then they've got to win another one.
They stick at B.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So it works. It's a bit more systematic. But then, as I was talking about before, if you've got the divisions between the veterans, the guys that are fun to watch but are never going to hold a belt, and the actual contenders, then it gets even more confusing. I like the idea of having the occasional belt. You know, the occasional like best MMA grappler, best MMA striker. You know, just it doesn't even have to be a belt. It could be a
trophy.
Something. I don't fucking
like a
know.
Coleman trophy.
There we go. A medallion. Fucking there we go.
Yeah.
I think I'm onto something there.
A nice cutlery set.
Ooh.
Or an engraved
picnic hamper.
An engraved set of chopsticks.
Yes.
Just bringing it around.
Now we're onto something. Go on, Wonderboy Thompson, Vicente Luque. In a word.
Thompson.
Okay.
I think. Pretty sure Thompson.
Okay, because this is long. I said we were going to do an hour, and we're at hour 45 now.
Oh shit!
And
Sorry,
most
dude.
of it's nonsense.
Are we
still not sure whether it's going to save to this memory card, so that would be a fucking mess, wouldn't it?
Well, hopefully. Well, it's been nice chatting to you, dude.
Yeah, it has been lovely. No, I just the one thing I do want to do is because this came up on my Instagram feed the other day. Is Dan Hardy's? It's hard. Hardcore underscore com. I don't know.
It's everywhere. You're baddest, 10 baddest
list.
motherfuckers in the UFC history.
First of all, context. This was after the Adesanya Whittaker fight. I'd been up all night.
Okay.
It was open mat, so by the time the fights had ended, BT Sport were arriving. And
you had a house full of people.
Yeah, everyone was here, so we were watching the fights and shit was going on, and so it was chaos. And we'd recorded the show, and then before BT were leaving, they were like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we need your top 10 baddest motherfuckers list now."
Ooh.
I'm like, okay, well, let me make a coffee and give me 5 minutes.
And that was a long day, right?
That was a long day. I've been up for like 30-something hours. So I compiled this list as quickly as possible, and I think it's a pretty good list still, and I will stand by it. Of course, there are loads of different people that you could put on the list, but the people that are fucking complaining about my list can suck a dick, for want of a better phrase.
Just hit us back with your list.
Yeah.
Just give us your list.
It's so subjective. Like, who do you think's a bad motherfucker? Who? Like, it's not. It's such a random qualification that anyone's opinion will count. But there were some good comments in it. So as I was reading through the other day, like there was some really interesting ones. There's one.
Should we run down the list real quick?
There's one dude that just said the list is trash, and he's got a verified account. Who's he? And he's got 14,000.
Mr. Dana White.
Oh, he's a world champion apparently. I have never heard of him.
Okay.
I'm not even going to mention his name.
No, don't do that. So should we mention the list? You going 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
What, my list?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we can do. I'll run through it quickly then. So number 10, Mike Perry, because he's a lunatic.
Yep.
Number 9, John Jones, because he's got an evil streak.
Yeah.
You can see that when he fights. Number 8, Tito Ortiz, because if you were around during the Tito Ortiz day, you remember how he was at the time. Not how he is now,
no.
How he was at the time. He was a dick.
He was above and beyond the face of.
He was like, he made Ken Shamrock infuriated. It was so fun
that press
to
conference
watch.
where he kicks the chair.
Yeah.
Up. Amazing.
And even when he lost, it didn't really seem to matter. Like when he lost to Frank Shamrock, it didn't seem to matter. No. He was always fun to watch. He was always controversial. He was a problem. He was irritating for people. And I well, there was a guy that it was a teammate. It was the first of the two Roughhouse guys. It was Paul Daly and Matt Howell.
Yeah.
And I remember Matt Howell from the old KSBO amateur tournaments. It was 1 5-minute round on mats in a sports hall, and he looked like Tito, and he showed up with bleach blonde hair, and I wanted to fight him because I didn't like Tito so much. And that's my everlasting memory. That's why Tito's on my list.
Because he was a bad guy.
Like
but
him.
he was like an original Diaz brother. Let's be fair.
He what? But yeah, but he was. But there's something mischievous and likable about the Diaz brothers. Whereas with Tito, I just didn't like him.
No, he
was irritating. He annoyed me because he was so arrogant, but he was successful. He was a bit of a Mayweather.
He's very Marmite.
Very
Marmite.
Yeah. And he wasn't my kind of person. So like that's why he's on my list, because he was effective as a BMF in my opinion at the time. BJ Penn, because
same rules apply.
When I think of BJ Penn, I think of him. Like I said when we were recording, him sprinting to the octagon and annihilating Cal Luno, who was a great fighter, 13 seconds,
licking the blood off his gloves after Sean's shirt.
Exactly. And the amount of times that I've debated against people that have thrown that photo of BJ Penn on Joe Stevenson's back,
UFC,
all covered
Newcastle,
in blood,
80.
right? Like they're my memories of BJ Penn. That's why he's on the list. Donald Cowboy Cerrone doesn't need any reason. I remember seeing a few comments about Joanna, like she's mean. She's mean. I just think she's a BMF. And
just watch her coming in. Just watch her from the beginning against Carla Esparza.
Right, exactly. Robbie Lawler, no reason to explain. I don't need to explain the rest of them. That's fine.
So,
Robbie Lawler, Vanderlei Silva,
Vanderlei.
Masvidal, and then Diaz brothers at the top.
Okay. So looking back now, is there anyone you'd have put in?
No, I mean there were good people in the comments. I mean some people said Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
He wasn't really a BMF though. I wouldn't have said he was quite a pleasant human being and a good martial artist, and he looked like a BMF and he fought like a BMF, but like
it was a character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when I get into an argument with people about punk rock, and punk rock's more subjective, I think. It's more down to your opinion of what punk rock is. I think punk rock's an attitude. Yeah. Like Ian Jury and the Blockheads, they were a punk rock band.
Yeah.
Woody Guthrie had a very punk rock attitude, even though his music was old, like 1935 Dust Bowl folk music.
Yeah.
You know? And this is a mad tangent we're going off now.
I can live with it.
But it's like the idea of punk rock. It's a spirit thing, and that's what it comes down to for the BMF belt. Holloway and Bisping, I could buy that definitely for Bisping, not so much for Max. He's just too much of a nice guy. He's having a good time.
I think more with Bisping recently, especially after he took his eye out that day. You're like, hold on a minute, you've done all this with one freaking eye.
I did see a comment the other day. It was Masvidal, I'm the BMF. Diaz, I'm the BMF. Bisping, hold my eye.
Yeah, perfect.
Bisping, I can say Bisping should be on the list.
Would you put Gagey, Jeremy Stevens?
No, Diego Sanchez was Jeremy Stevens was put up there. Again, he's not in comparison to the people that are on the list. Diego Sanchez, less of a BMF, more of a lunatic. Mike Perry should be higher on the list.
Did Mike Perry write that?
Maybe. Connor, loads of people said Connor. I'm sorry, not right now. He needs to punch in old guys in pubs and.
I think he knocked himself off the list.
Yeah. I think he disqualified himself from the list. I mean, Gaethje I can buy.
Yeah.
But he's more of an aggressive competitor and less of a BMF, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a lot like Poirier. You know when Poirier's like, I'm the real baddest motherfucker. It's like, well, you're an amazing fighter.
Dominic Cruz, someone said.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was definitely his mom.
Great fighter. But I mean, there is no punctuation, and they've only capitalized a few of the so we've got. So this person, we've got Chris Cyborg. Francis, maybe. Chris, no punctuation. I'm just going to read these out as they're written.
Go on.
Chris Cyborg, Francis, John Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva, Joanna, Dominic Cruz, Shane Carwin, Chuck Liddell, Anthony Johnson.
No, but you're looking at attitudes, right? Because if you were to do it like these people are doing it, then you'd look at someone like Cody Garbrandt and go, he's a bad motherfucker. Pre being knocked out 4 times in a row. If you look at Cody, who I really like watching fight, he's a bad motherfucker. You know when he was fighting people, but then when he was on The Ultimate Fighter and you saw more of his personality, that wasn't necessarily a bad motherfucker.
No. This guy has put together a very detailed top 15, actually, including the dates at which they reigned. There are some good ones on here, though. Chris Lieben, I can see that.
Yeah. Psychopath again. Same
lunatic.
with Diego.
Absolute lunatic. Matt Brown's on there. TRT Vitor in 2013 is on there.
He's like
Yeah,
the
they've
end of level boss though.
They've got Junior Dos Santos right up near the top, and he's
a
the
sweetheart.
nicest guy you'll ever
He's
meet.
never been. He's not angry.
No, not at all. He's always smiling. He's always smiling. Tony Ferguson's up there, but I put him in the Diego Sanchez character. He's more weird than BMF.
This weird league's coming together really nicely.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I think we're Chris Lytle's up there. Chris Lytle was just a really nice guy, but fought like a BMF. Could take a punch like a BMF. Jeez,
Yeah, I remember that.
A lot of people say Crow Cop as well. Again,
No,
like
when you see him singing with Pat Barry and hugging, when he's hugging Pat Barry and high-fiving him all the way through their fight, that's not BMF.
we could have a lunatic belt. That'd be a good one.
It is 2/3 of the roster right now, though.
Yeah, true. Anyway, we should wrap this up.
That's what you're saying, dude. It's gone dark.
I know it has, hasn't it?
And I've not sprattled through my. Oh, what did he say?
Well,
prattled through my phone for notes.
We're at 2 hours, so I think we've covered some ground.
There you go.
Should we wrap it there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Nice one.
That was fun.
Well, enjoy the fights this weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening.